We anticipate in the next 10 to 12 years, approximately 8 to 6 million Hispanics coming into the United States and 41 million Asians. You have been the majority minority for 400 years in this country. You have been the number 2 population for 400 years. You're going to get kicked out of being number 2. You're going to go down and become number 4. Now, common sense, even a 3rd grade education would tell you, if you didn't get anything when you were number 2, you all jumped ahead of me, but anyway, you can guess what you're going to get when you become number 4.
President Biden, do you support reparations?
Well, let me, since I haven't spoken on this, get a chance. Number one, the reason we're the country we are is because of immigration. We've been able to cherry pick the best from every single continent. The people who come here have determination, resilience. They are ready to stand up and work like the devil. We have 24 of every 100 children in our school today is Hispanic. The idea that we are going to walk away and not provide every opportunity for them is not only stupid and immoral, but it's bad for America. They are the future of America.
At the very same time that America refused to give the Negro any land, through an act of Congress, our government was giving away millions of acres of land in the West and the Midwest. Which meant that it was willing to undergird its white peasants from Europe with an economic floor. But not only did they give the land, they built land-grant colleges with government money to teach them how to farm. This is what we are faced with. And this is the reality. Now, when we come to Washington in this campaign, we are coming to get our check.
We are owed $104 trillion on the very low end, plus $735 billion recurring. This number does not include the cost of about 50 Black Wall Streets that were decimated, nor compound interest from 2017 when Sean D. Rochester's book, The Black Tax, was published, nor the cost of Black life, nor the cost of living increases, nor the war on drugs, nor the current day pandemic. The number I'm working with is for slavery, Jim Crow, and accrued ongoing systemic racism, oppression, and disadvantage in the country our ancestors built with their lives.
Good afternoon on the West Coast. Good evening in the mountain. Good evening in the central. Good evening on the East Coast. You know exactly who it is, family. Angela Nirvana, your hostess with the mostest on the Reparationist perspective, bringing you those Freedmen hot topics and making the case for reparations, making the case for weaponizing our vote, socializing our suffering. Thank you, DJ Segwan. I see you, T Shields. I see you, Nice C. Thank you, one and all, for joining me yet again for another flaming hot broadcast. Yes. Please like, share, subscribe, turn on your notifications, family. We about to get into this. I'm not going to be long with no intro because God knows what I found on Noir DOS's platform in the Twitter space. Thank you, Noir DOS, for this very robust conversation regarding the beef with the Africans and their animosity towards American freedmen who has been their reparations after they sold us into slavery. I don't know if you guys have been seeing it all throughout different spaces. We're starting to learn who many of these Black immigrants truly are. Now that we've awakened up from the slumbers of our, seductive Pan-Africanism, and only to learn that we are the only ones caping for Pan-Africanism. The rest is a grift. The rest is about how can we undermine your efforts where reparations is concerned? And if we can't undermine it, how do we get a piece of it to work hand in hand with your white and immigrant oppressors alike in the country of our ancestors? If we can't have a peace, how do we make sure you stay on the bottom? And it's very disheartening. What I've learned, what I've been seeing in these spaces as of late. Very, very sad and disheartening. And it's a very, very heavy topic tonight. I want you to brace yourself. You're going to hear some things in this Twitter space that are going to make you want to, knock somebody out. But I want you to understand that this is not all Black immigrants, but it's far too many in this country. Because from what I learned in this space, this is what they're taught to do while they're going through the migration process to this country. They are literally told to stay away from us, like we are a pariah, like, we're the plague. We're the ones that these white oppressors have warned all the immigrants, especially the Black ones, to stay away from us. And sadly, they're getting their wake-up call. I do want to correct something I said yesterday. I don't wish anybody death, but that could have been inferred in something I said last night when I was referencing that I'm not getting into a pissing match over who is executed the most and disproportionately by the race soldiers. I would rather it not be anyone. Okay, let me just stand corrected on that. I'm not anti-immigrant. I'm anti the weaponization of immigration against freedmen to keep us tethered to the bottom of this country as the anchor of its capitalism. Because capitalism absolutely requires a bottom caste. But do know that the sentiment that we are experiencing all over social media and many people are experiencing in the flesh, I'm grateful to not have been one of them, is a byproduct of what they are taught and conditioned to think and believe about freedmen. And it's rather tragic to me because they know the history. They know, especially Nigerians. All you have to do is look up the article, "My great-grandfather was an African slave trader," to know that they were very much participatory in the slave trade. And slave trading did not start with the Europeans. They enslaved us amongst tribes. They sold us to Arabs and, of course, the Europeans. But they like to mask this and pretend like all of us were kidnapped. That's just a lie. And so this broadcast is definitely about pushing out our illustrious candidate, MARCEL DIXON, and to raise money. I told you I've pretty much turned into Campaign Central, using this platform to help in any way that I can to get him elected, to unseat Clyburn, who's done nothing for freed people in the 30 years he's been in office. It's time for him to go. So I managed to happen upon this space, and I got in touch with Noir DOS, and she happily shared with me the recording, which is still alive over in Twitter space, and said I had her blessings to please go ahead and help Marcel in any way that I can to help him get elected. And so he was one of her co-hosts in this space, and she goes by Connie. I'm not going to give her full government name, but Connie is Noir DOS. She's actually one of the co-founders of the former ADOS movement as well. Which brings me to my other very, very disappointing statement on the subject of the former ADOS. I recently saw a clip where Yvette Carnell was coming for the throat of MARCEL DIXON now. She managed in the beginnings in our humble beginnings to decimate my super PAC, to decimate Tamara Johnson Shealy's chances of winning her first time around. And now she's coming for the jugular of Marcel Dixon. You need to understand, family, that Yvette Carnell never expected us to go be a solution, because reparations is a grift for quite a few content creators. Yes, it is. We are the ones that have always been working. We went out, became the solution, and she's doing everything in her power to undermine and decimate our efforts. No matter how illustrious our accomplishments are, we are constantly seeing her go in on CJEC, NASD, Chair Moore here on the AB 3121 Task Force. It's unconscionable. But God is making a footstool of our enemies. And I'm not going to delve too much into that. I'm going to keep working. I'm going to keep doing the work. And I'm going to keep championing our work from the grassroots all over the country that was born out of the former ADOS movement. And I'm going to continue to go in hard for our reparationist candidates to get them elected, because this doesn't happen without a Congress full of Marcel Dixons and Tamara Johnson Shealys. It's not going to happen. And so we've got work to do and no money. And so we've been neutralized economically. Now they're coming for our vote. And the sad thing is, you've got freed blacks like Yvette Carnell who are trying to destroy us. We won't allow it to happen. It took the wind out of our sails when she first imploded the movement, but we have risen. We have arisen from the ashes like the phoenix we are. We won't give in, we won't give up, we won't give out. But it saddens me to think that I've got to fight freed blacks in order to liberate the lineage. It is what it is. It's no different than what our ancestors had to do. Harriet Tubman literally had to threaten to shoot mofos. So, I don't know why I expect it to be easier in 2022. But I've learned the hard way that we're going to end up having to fight for the rest of our lives, because once we procure it, we're going to have to fight to keep the gate up, or it will go the way of affirmative action and civil rights for freedmen. So that's the work, and I'm trying to be okay with that. But I really detest and despise all of the agents of chaos from our own lineage that are being very disruptive and making it very difficult for us to get to the victory. But it is what it is. So without further ado, let me start this long, get your popcorn, get your libations, I'm going to put it on mute because I've got some other things I must take care of. And I'll be back. Thank you for tuning in. Stand by.
giving people time to get in the room, or in the space, I should say. Did somebody, they requested to speak and then it went away? I think it was Ori. You guys there? Hello, 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 hello. Hello, hello. Hello, hello. Hi, Ruka. Iruka. Instead of having an authentic conversation, they're talking about government conspiracies and the FBI and, the United States invading Africa. And we're trying to talk, like, I guess, broken family, Africans to Black Americans. And hold on, Marcel. Hey, Marcel, you there? Marcel, I sent you a mic. Let's see. Marcel, I sent you a mic. Can you hear me, Marcel?
Hey, yes. Hey, Nordos. I can hear you. I got kicked out their room too, so it's a block.
I didn't get kicked out. I left.
They kicked me out. It's a block party because I was dropping facts. I signed those people, and when I say those people, I'm talking about those cowards that hold these rooms, talking about Tariq Nasheed. And look, they need to go ahead and join Tariq Nasheed's fan club so he can send them updates on his speaking events because they are obsessed with that man. And I was saying to them that immigration overall does not benefit Black Americans. And I was thinking, I know when this started when Mel and Sonny and all of them did that room about how does immigration benefit Black Americans. They came and made it about themselves. And then they tried to do these very
well, wait, stop on that point. If in the room said immigration, it didn't say Africans, it didn't say Black immigrants, right?
So they changed the title then. They must have changed the title.
No. The room that Booby and Check and Sonny had said how does
immigration. Exactly.
And they centered it and made it about themselves. But go ahead. I didn't mean to cut off your flow.
No, that's okay.
I'm sorry.
I was just saying that I was in the room and I was fact checking the hell out of them. He said that I was jumping all over the place, but I told him they contradict themselves. On one hand, they say that the population of African immigrants in America is too small to have a significant impact on Black Americans. And I said, okay, well, here's just what the data shows about immigration in general on Black Americans, is that immigration has a detrimental impact, both legal and illegal, on Black Americans. It correlates with lower wages, higher levels of mass incarceration, higher levels of unemployment. And they was like, well, specify as immigrants. I said, how can I specify when you just said your population is so low in this country that there's very little data about it? And I said, let me check you too. They mentioned Liberia to you as some way that Black Americans have harmed Africans. They are so damn dumb. They must get that critical race theory education. Liberia was done by white Americans. That was a white American colony. And Freedmen did not come there and start war, as some people foolishly believe. Freedmen were fighting to stop the slave trade that some of the tribes located in what is now called Liberia were still participating. We were fighting to stop them from enslaving their own people and selling them. But they didn't want to hear the truth. And every time you're bringing them the truth, they hit the mute button and they start doing that circle jerk thing where everybody starts giving each other claps because they're all saying the same thing and it's not true. And my thing is this. I was citing facts. I was citing actual studies, and I offered to post it. They were citing emotional things, saying, well, how do Africans interrupt your income? That's not the question. You said, does it benefit Black Americans? And I said, no, it does not. And if it does, please show me where it does. And they can never answer that question. The thing is, they don't want to benefit us. They want to come here and take advantage of opportunities that our ancestors, our grandparents and great-grandparents and great-great-grandparents and further back fought to make happen. They don't come here wanting to fight alongside the reparations. That's what we've done for them. When Ethiopia was being invaded by Italy, and they were about to get their behinds whipped, it was Black American
Yep.
soldiers who arranged to go over there. When South Africa was going through apartheid, which was pretty much another name for Jim Crow, it was Black Americans who were lobbying and raising money to try to get our country to put an embargo on South Africa. It was Black Americans.
Remember we made our universities, our HBCUs divest.
Yes, we did. And that's how a lot of their
Mhm.
first presidents and their first independent leaders went to HBCUs, and they wrote themselves, like Dr. Kwame Nkrumah wrote himself how the fight of Black Americans is what encouraged him to go back to Ghana and fight that much more vigorously against the British. They can never mention any specific facts outside of, so I was called an African booty scratcher when I was in the second grade in 1971. And that's traumatized them forever. Imagine what trauma we have been being lynched from trees and Black Wall Street's burnt to the ground, Jim Crow, redlining, rape, and lynch mobs. They don't know trauma. So I am waiting for one of them to give us some facts to show immigration benefits us, and they can never do it. And the thing
Well,
is,
here's the thing,
uh-huh,
Marcel. Here's the thing. The reason I opened this space, you and I, as Black Americans, we go into their rooms being authentic, like you said, citing facts, data, history, trying to have high level discussions. And they're there like children playing games. Like that guy was like, um, you're an actress and you should get an Oscar for your portrayal. Like Black Americans have been so nice. We have been nice.
exactly.
We've been we've been beyond nice. And then when I said, "Hey," um, they said, "Well, how are we harming you?" And I said, "You are coming over here, to your point, Marcel, to a country and using benefits and resources that we fought for, not just our ancestors, even us today are fighting for resources. And then we get them. And then Africans leapfrog over us. And when I made the point, he was like, "Oh, well, that's just how the world is. You have to take things." And I said, "That's the savagery I'm talking about." Then
Sounds
when
like
I
something
point
a rapist would say.
exactly. And then whenever I make this point, I want everyone to think about this. Is it kosher for Japanese people to go and apply for any type of benefits that are specifically meant for Koreans? Isn't that fraudulent? Isn't that treacherous? Isn't that deceitful? Isn't that scammy? Isn't that low life? So, what they don't want to have the real discussion about, I can have a very civil discussion. I would love for somebody to come up and not play games. Just have a real dialogue with me slash us and let's talk this thing through. But that just remember, I kept saying, what have we done? Oh, growing up being foreign in a Black neighborhood, growing up being
Being
foreign
foreign
in
in
any
any
American
American
neighborhood.
neighborhood.
Oh my
Oh my
goodness, there's
goodness,
such
there's
an
such an
echo.
echo.
What do I
What do
do
I
to
do
make
to
this
make this
echo stop? Hello? Okay, it stopped. But they act like they experience something that no other immigrants experience. Asians, Latinos, everybody talks about it. When I was a kid, I was the foreign kid and it was tough and people made fun of me and my clothes and my food. Why are they acting like Black Americans are going to be any different? I went to an all white school. A lot of white children, I mean, Black children that go to all white schools. Honestly, I didn't have it as bad as a lot of people talk about, but still, you know, we all have terrible experiences when we're the outsider, the foreigner, the different person. We're ostracized, but they cannot point to any period of time where we as a people have harmed Africans other than I was a kid. We're adults. And this is the thing that bothers me, Marcel and Major, is they won't have a conversation. Like I pointed out, I said, "You're coming here, you're getting on television, you're speaking against us, you're coming to our country, you're telling white people we don't need Black History Month, you're telling white people you're better than us, you're getting on TV saying we don't need reparations, that we need to work harder and not be lazy," but they won't stop and have that discussion. They just want to move along and have some internet battle, not understanding me and Major are in a national organization where we work for the betterment of Black people. If Africans hadn't acted the way that they do, it would be for all Black people. But ours is for only freedmen. Marcel is running for office. to help Black Americans. And they say, oh, you guys don't do anything. We are constantly working. Commercial break. Everybody, please take time right now to post an original tweet with the hashtag Save Mason, Tennessee. Please. I'm going to give everybody 10 seconds. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We've got to support our people. But this whole narrative that we've done something to them is, and they don't understand that they're really making it worse. I think they think this is like some internet battle. Does anybody want to speak up? And I really would like to hear from a Black immigrant, like their real perspective with no game playing, if anyone is in the room.
I want to say real quick, Northern I wanted to say something real quick. I went in that room and SONY, he's about to speak, and he was there. I didn't even go up in there attacking them. I said on the individual basis, I'm sure there are many African immigrants who are working to give back to the Black American community, because I do know there are some on call. I said we're talking about on a systemic level. When Black Americans talk about immigration, like you said, Nerdos, we don't ever even specify them. They make it about them. But you know what? That shows their true colors. When you hear Black Americans, y'all came here and got called names because of your accent or you were from a foreign country. We got called names and hung from trees and land stolen. So who had the most? And we inherited that trauma. But my thing is this: when someone whom you know made it possible for you to come to this country that you said is the land of plenty, or you can have the American dream, and you hear us saying about the pain we're going through, and the only thing you do is make it about how it makes you feel, but you don't have room. Where are the rooms they're hosting about how to help us get reparations? Where are the rooms they're hosting about calling out these politicians that are selling this out for immigrants, illegal and illegal? They don't do that. So this shows it's all about them. They are not true allies. When they were going through that stuff, we were going through hell over in this country too. We still put our people, our parents and grandparents, grandparents still put their own struggles aside. There was a lot of them to help them out. Name one chance, one era, one time they've ever put their struggles aside to say, I'm going to put it all on the line for my people. I know they don't, because I have friends who are immigrants, and they sometimes won't even go to bat for me because they are afraid they will get deported and lose their citizenship. So that's just what it is.
Okay, who's speaking? What's his name? Sony?
Pat.
Hey, Pat. What's up?
Hey, what's up, Black people?
Wait,
I'm
hold
not.
on. Can somebody tell me how to get rid of this echo? Hello? Okay, I turned the mic on and off. That works.
It's when Sony have his mic off and you have your mic off at the same time.
You mean on at the same time?
On, yeah, my bad.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Pat.
Okay, so I was in that last space, like Marcel just said, and y'all was getting real emotional in there. There was a lot of feelings. I mean, y'all was trying to speak.
Okay.
I think the issue is when both of us are off.
Okay, so this is how this room is going to be conducted. We're not going to come in here characterizing people. If being emotional is stating facts, that's what it is. But don't come in here characterizing what was said or how it was said. Don't paint a narrative. Before you speak, what's your ethnicity?
Can I speak, or are you gonna keep?
I'm not playing that game with you, Pat. Of course.
But I mean, every time I try to speak, you keep interrupting, just like in the last space.
So I'm going to say this again. I'm not playing games. When I stop speaking, that means you can speak. Don't play games. When I come off the mic, will you tell us what your ethnicity is, and then we can continue?
I'm Black American.
Are you Freedmen? Where are your grandparents from?
I'm Black American.
Where are your grandparents from?
South Carolina.
Did they descend from slaves? Slavery? The institution? Hello? Pat? Pat, I thought you were eager to speak. That's what I thought. Okay, anybody else want to come up and have an authentic conversation? No one wants to speak? Everybody wants to be a listener? Okay, well, I'm going to say this then. Major, did you have anything to say?
No, go ahead.
Okay, so I'm going to say this. Okay, I'm going to address a couple of things. Like Marcel was saying, there's so much hypocrisy that's coming from Black immigrants. Like I stated in the other room, they're acting like we woke up, in the last couple of years, and all of a sudden we started saying, oh, Black immigrants are harming us. Oh, Black immigrants, we're having a problem with them. What they're not addressing is what caused that. So we had started noticing in real life over the years. What was that movie with Wesley Snipes? God, what was that movie? And this was like 20 years ago. And they called him an akata in that movie, and he slapped the shit out of him. So we've been noticing in real life how Africans come here. If you go into their businesses, they treat you like you're like disgusting. Everybody stares at you. Everybody's cold towards you. They come here, they move around white people. They tell their children not to associate with our children, not to associate with us, that we're bullet bags and we're trouble and we're baby mamas. Meanwhile, we've been here for centuries. We have $1 million neighborhoods. We have degrees upon degrees. We've been getting degrees. We don't act like new niggas and boast about our degrees because it's normal to get degrees if that's what you want to do. But they say, oh, all you guys do is complain. So they have all this hypocrisy. On one hand, they're saying, oh, you don't address white supremacy. Apparently, you don't know our history. Apparently, you don't know why Black people and white people don't get along. You guys keep saying we complain, and that's why white people don't like us. We are the watchdogs of Blackness. We are the people that keep the demons at bay. We are the people that make sure we have jobs, the very jobs that you guys are coming here and gaining access to. They didn't just open up jobs to us. We had to fight and demand that we have jobs. The entertainment industry, where you guys are having a ball cosplaying us in films and in music too, we fought to be on TV. We fought not to be depicted as minstrels and maids and drug dealers and pimps. We fought for all of that. So it's very hurtful when you sit and you listen to Black immigrants with their smugness, and they're thinking this is somehow cute to insult us. What have you done? All you do is complain. No, our complaining is called fighting. We are here dying. We are being genocided in every manner possible. And then they say, oh, you've been mean to us. They've come here, they've moved into our communities. We're not known for burning them out of our communities. We're not known for beating them up. We're not known for any of that. There's never been a point in time where there's been like some type of turf wars between Africans and Black Americans on our soil. But yet they have their presidents, Buhari over in Nigeria, was speaking derogatorily about us and said, no, once again, he won't give us citizenship. At no moment in time have Africans ever helped us. Mind you, they're going to say, oh, we protested during George Floyd. Okay, the whole world protested. It was COVID. People were bored. It was a thing to do. Sorry, it is what it is. A protest is not work. That is not what it is. Then you have the Ethiopian president. You guys can Google this. The prime minister. First of all, why is our name in their mouths on other continents? So he's talking to his people in Ethiopia for no God-given reason. He just starts talking about Black Americans and how we could do better. But we're unlike the Jews. We just won't get over it and move on. We just have to let the past go, right? Who tells a people that have been through hell to get over it?
Exactly.
Right. The Jews have a saying, never forget. What is this weirdo talking about? What is this obsession, compulsion to shit on Black Americans who've done nothing to no one ever, collectively, ever? Then, then you've got, let's not forget all their African celebrities. Akon telling us to get over enslavement. DJ Academics, David Oyelowo, Cynthia Erivo. I could go on and on. Calling us a kata, all types of shit while playing our iconic roles. And they want to create a narrative that somehow we're abusing them. We should just shut up. They're treating us like white people. We're going to keep treating you bad. Just shut up. Stop complaining. We're going to create a false narrative about you. And there is an opportunity for us to talk and to overcome this. And that's why I left that other space. He was just making up shit. That's sick. You're talking to real Black American freedmen who come from a long line of warriors. We've experienced so much trauma, and they keep thinking we're talking about the past. I've been discriminated against in manners that are deplorable. My white teacher slapped the shit out of me in elementary school, a Catholic school at that. I don't understand how another ethnic group, well, I do, another Black ethnic group can shit on another Black ethnic group. Then he tried to make up some shit. Oh, he was calling me ADOS. And I said, no, I'm a Black American freedman. Oh, you guys come up with a new name every day. I said, no, just like you have your tribal names, we have our tribal names. But see how they don't want to respect anything? Everything is a joke. When it comes to us, everything we do is a joke. The reason I said I do understand how they can hate on other Black ethnicities is because in their countries, they're so tribal. It's nothing for them to shit on other Black people. Like I said, they have the House of the Fulani, the Uso, all types of tribes, Igbo, Yoruba. They don't even like one another in their own country. I think there's actually 55 African countries now. I think South Sudan is the 55th country or something. Not one of those countries likes one another. And they're bringing that here and not understanding this is a grand opportunity for them to change, evolve, grow up, stop the caste system, stop being childish, learn to be unified. That's why I opened the space. I want to have real dialogue, not, playing some games, trying to one up one another. I'm willing to hear anyone out that wants to come up and have a real dialogue. I will let you speak, but I'm not going to allow childishness in this room. And then to another point, since no one's talking but me, they keep saying, oh, whenever we push back against something, oh, we all Black, we all Black. How come when you Google all of their organizations, just Google African organizations, read their mission statements, not one of those mission statements will say that Black Americans are included. Not one of them. But they keep saying, oh, we're all the same. But that's because they want to double dip. They want to double dip in our benefits. The other day, there was an article about Caribbeans in Hollywood are fighting for more Caribbean roles. Meanwhile, they're playing us on TV, but fighting for more roles for them. Go ahead.
And can I speak to that? I want to say too, the person in Ethiopia, the Ethiopian president, first of all, he needs to really, really hush. Talk about letting go of the past. When Ethiopia, which by the way, I visited Ethiopia, I really, really enjoyed myself, but they are riddled with ethnic conflict because of issues from the past. So if he wants to lecture someone about letting go of the past, he needs to talk to his own people, because right now they're having severe civil conflict because of issues from the past rooted in colonization, but some of them preceded colonization. I also want to say this. He is a fool that praised the Jews. Jews, the country of Israel, They didn't even want to let Black Ethiopian Jews in their nation. They
Hello.
had to be forced to do it by protest. You see, that's my issue with some of the people I met on the African continent. It's like they have no fight. How are you praising the Jews when Israel is over there killing, murdering, depriving Ethiopian Jews of all their rights when they are some of the oldest ethnic Jews in the world? That's number one. Buhari, that old man needs to go ahead and retire. He doesn't even know what the hell he's doing. Okay, Nigeria could be probably the wealthiest nation in the world. It's all but collapsed under him, and he don't need to be lecturing Black Americans about nothing. Especially we have the Fulani who are going around killing farmers, and then he has the issue of Boko Haram, and then he has the Igbo because my fiance is an Igbo, and he has the Igbo people in the southern part of Nigeria who want to become their own nation. So all of these people, this goes for Black immigrants, white Americans, all people, they all need to check themselves when they mention something about us. Because as a people, Black Americans are really one of the few groups of people that can honestly say we've never, as a group, oppressed anyone. Our history has always been one of advancing civil rights. The problem with us as Black Americans, we've been too damn nice and we've been too damn inclusive. We need to start focusing mainly on ourselves. That's why I have well-meaning people in my area who want to see me win. They tell me, don't forget about policies for people of this color and that color. I said, I'm running on a platform of repairing Black America. Let me tell you something. I see that I forgot that white guy's name. He was in Idaho or Iowa. He lost finally. The one who was saying that, white Americans built America or whatever. He finally lost. But you got people like him and that other white guy who's in Congress in Wisconsin. They have no qualms. The one that said that had the people who invaded the Capitol been Black Lives Matter protesters, he would have been afraid. That guy. These white politicians have no problem being on code for their fellow white Americans who are anti-Black. Those Asian senators, Tammy Duckworth, and the senator from Hawaii, Ronald, they had no problem saying to everyone that they weren't going to support any legislation until Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders were protected. You got the Hispanic caucus, who really wants all white Hispanics, what they really need, but they're trying to get policies done for their people by having themselves cast in more Hollywood films, because there's a Hispanic seat in most films, and of course this terrible New Deal for New Americans bill. No group has any problem being specific besides us. And that is what is starting to change. It's a seismic shift. Black Americans, Freedmen, we are finally starting to gatekeep. We're finally starting to give people the same energy they have given up us, and they cannot stand it. And we're finally starting to evaluate and vet people before we give them our support. Like this Nigerian guy I heard that was just stabbed to death by his white girlfriend. I saw these tweets. I don't know if they're valid, but if they are, then you know what? Good riddance. Which one you like more, Reese's or Kit Kat? That's where I am with him. If he was saying all that cool stuff and he loved them some white girl so much she killed him, Reese's, Kit Kat, Snickers, or Hershey balls. Which one you want? Which one you like? What y'all have for dinner today? That's where I'm at with that. Good riddance and goodbye.
Wait, Marcel. That so people who don't know. So what happened was this young Nigerian guy, he's 27 years old, and he was stabbed to death by his white girlfriend. But he had a series of tweets going back from 2011 saying he doesn't like black girls, he likes white girls. Why are black girls so, like, whatever word he was using, it was kind of like ratchet. Why do black girls twerk? Blah blah blah. So now fast forward, he's 27 years old, and guess who his girlfriend was? His white girlfriend. He was talking about black women not having standards or something. His white girlfriend is an OnlyFans model. An OnlyFans model. The white girl that he got was an OnlyFans, what is that, porn girl. And she ended up stabbing him. Then his female cousin gets on Twitter today saying, oh, this white girl stabbed my cousin. People went through her timeline. She had been calling us a kata and all of this other stuff too, and talking bad about black people. And so this is what we're talking about. Like, this isn't just a social media thing.
Exactly.
Hey, Jeff, you're laughing. Would you like to come up and speak?
And you know what? Nodos, let me add this too real quick. I want people to understand a lot of people in African nations, and I'm not an expert on the African continent by no means. I've used to love to read about it. I was one of those people who wanted to build up my self-esteem, my knowledge of self by studying ancient African kingdoms and civilizations, and I still find it fascinating to be honest. I just never knew about it. But what I discovered when I traveled to these different countries and spoke with the people there, a lot of them, there's still a lot of conflict between different tribal ethnic groups because of colonization, because of land and territory that was taken, because of resources that were probably given en masse to one particular tribe that was probably friendly with the European colonizers, while the others got none. And the lack of development in some parts of the continent all ties back to European colonization. But here's why I'm making that point. European colonization on the African continent lasted for some decades. Even though Europeans had a presence there for centuries, the actual colonization part lasted for decades, maybe almost a century. Black Americans have gone through 5 centuries of all out hell, the worst brutality and abuse and terrorism and inhumane savagery that people have ever subjected other people to. And they want to tell us, get over it in so many words, how they come here and be successful. It's easy to come here and be successful when you're not coming here, stepping off the plane, and you're dealing with anti-Black lynch mobs. It's easy to come here and be successful when you're coming here and you're going to schools that our ancestors built and kept afloat. It's easy to come here and be successful when we fought and bled to do the abolition and the civil rights of this nation. And were those things perfect? No, they were not. That's why I'm running. The point I'm making is, if they've inherited trauma from a shorter period of time, which is European colonization, how dare them dismiss the trauma we've inherited from a longer period of time in issues that we are still going through? The difference is they are coming from majority Black nations where everyone or the majority of people look like them. We are in a nation with the descendants of the people, by and large, who did horrific things to us. And some of the same anti-Black people, they taught their children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren how to be anti-Black just like they were. And they are still in positions of power that they unfairly got at the expense of Black people. Some white people are getting on code and helping, but by and large, that is still not happening. So that's the thing I don't get. How are you coming to our country where we really should have been extinct, but we're still keeping this boat afloat and telling us what we need to get over, while still talking about all the issues that you feel you've been deprived of and what America has done to you in the past? If we got to get over what's been done for 500 centuries, you got to get over what America just did to you for a year or so long. Let's play that game then.
And then, Marcel, when they come into these spaces, in these rooms, and they're telling us, oh, you guys are stuck on your past and whatever, but the first thing out of their mouths is always what? Well,
we're Africans.
Yeah, we're Africans, and we've been at war, and this happened and that happened. So they understand trauma to them. But for some reason, there's this callous apathy towards us. Just like in the other room, I said, hey, what have we done to you? Oh, you've come in and you've bombed us. Are you talking about the white people with the army? And then
Exactly.
they want to paint us, like you said, you can't have it both ways, meaning we can't be American and just separate and be Black Americans. Well, they keep telling us, you don't control shit, you don't run shit,
I
you
have
ain't
said
shit.
that. So how can you say we did it and we don't control it? Exactly.
Yeah, you say we ain't shit, ain't never gonna be shit, but now we're responsible for Barack Obama, Joe Biden, et al. Bombing the shit out of Africa. So what is it? Do we
Well, I
control
said to
stuff?
them, while they were bombing y'all, they were bombing us. Whatever they did to other groups of people in other countries, they did it to us first. They flooded China with opioids. They did that to us first. There is very well documented how they would experiment whatever new pharmaceuticals or whatever new drugs they created on black people who were enslaved. If they went over there and raped y'all and put y'all in concentration camps, they did that to us. They have been doing it to us. When they were bombing Somalia, they were bombing Black Wall Street in Oklahoma. They were bombing Wilmington. Whatever atrocities the American military or whatever institution this country was doing to them, it had been done to us. We actually rallied to support when America invaded Haiti. It was Black Americans who were rallying against our own government, saying, get the hell out of Haitians and leave them alone. We've actually had to fight for them while also fighting to defend ourselves in a country where we are still fighting to get justice, where we are outnumbered. By the way, Baba Goni is in here, and he is actually Nigerian.
I'm saying, man, y'all both cooking, but this a little tongue in cheek a little bit. Why do we expect these people to come here and stand with us and fight when they left their country? They left the fight. Like, they're not the ones who stay in there fighting. So we trying to implore, I ain't gonna call them the cowards, but we gonna call the ones who ran away for a better life, quote unquote. Why? They already showed you who they were, you know what I mean, when they left their country. So it's like, that's the part I don't get. They still haven't answered the question that was posed so long ago by Mel and Booby and those guys. What have y'all done to help us? Like, no one has still answered that. Like, I've heard Afro beats, I heard that one, like, but they have not yet answered that damn question. And it's been like, what, 3-4 months since that room went, viral, whatever. So it's like, they already told us who we are, or who they are, you know what I mean? So it's just a little weird. We got a couple of hands though. Go ahead, Free R. Kelly.
Hey, what's going on, family? Peace and blessings. Shout out to everybody in the room that's on code. If you're not, to hell with you.
Are you a Freedman?
No, I am a foundational Black American Freedman. Anything that's on code, that's what I am. Foundational Black American.
All right.
Yeah. I'm not. I'm not one of them people that get hung up over names, but definitely foundational Black American, secure the tribe. I just want to go ahead and really, really answer the question. What's the true beef between Black Americans and Africans? There is no beef, because in order for there to be beef, there has to be aggression on both sides. All we are doing is securing our tribe. We're making it known our contributions. We're making it known that we are a special group. Speaking of the viral space, you know what I'm saying, that is monumental, legendary. We pose that question to immigrants in general. And the only people at that time who felt some type of way and got in their feelings just so happened to be Africans.
Yeah,
now,
that's right.
and that's a big fact. You feel me? They got in their feelings. You feel me? They the ones who took it personal, and it is what it is. But the reality of the situation is that we securing the tribe, we making it known we are a special group. We are our own people. When Haitians express pride in their lineage, everybody respects it. When Angolans do it, everybody respects it. All we are saying is that we are a special group of people who have contributed some very, very special things to the entire planet. We want acknowledgement and we want justice for what was done to our ancestors and what's still being done to us. There is no beef. We don't sit around thinking about them. They sit around thinking about us. We don't sit around mimicking them. They sit around mimicking us and mocking our culture. We don't have no reason to beef with nobody, because our culture, our contributions, and who we are as a people speaks for its damn self. Everybody wants to be us. Everybody wants to be like us, even though they can't stand us. So it's clear who up on the scoreboard.
Thank you for that. That was just a coincidence that the alarm was going off. Were you finished?
I was like, you got people on the timer now?
No. It was just the my, you know what it is, Major.
Yeah. No, but I think that's that guilt they have, man. That's because, like you said, no one pointed out in a specific immigrant group, but they're the ones who came out, lashing out and everything, and that's that guilt because they know they're wrong.
But I wouldn't even call it guilt, Major, because from everything that I've experienced in real life, having these discussions and online, there is no guilt. Just like they said in the other room, I said, you're taking benefits that we fought for. And he said, I said, you're using benefits that we fought for. He's like, that's how the world works. You just take what you want. That's savage. They're not feeling any guilt. They're upset that we're turning over the apple cart. We're speaking up. We're getting the government to disaggregate the data. We're getting the government to understand that we should not be grouped in. We should not have our blackness flattened. So they're upset that they're no longer. They know the day is about to come when they can't check the box saying that they're a Black American. That's what they're upset about. They're not feeling any type of guilt. And every time we bring up specifics, they just move past the point. They'll say, "Oh, you called us African booty scratcher." And we'll go, "Okay, that was as a child. Now, what else?" And first of all of them didn't get called African booty scratcher, and Black Americans called one another African booty scratcher. But when we say, "What have we done to you collectively? Tell us," they just move on. And we can point out thing after thing after thing. And they just move to another point and just make up things, emotional points. Um, Babagoni. Go ahead, sir.
Hello, good evening, everyone.
Good evening. Where are you from?
I am from Nigeria.
Hey, Baba Goni. He's been in rooms
Hello.
before.
Okay.
Hello, Marcel.
Do you live in Nigeria now, or you live in the States?
No, I'm living in the UK.
Oh, in the UK. Where?
Portsmouth.
Portsmouth. I never heard of that, but okay. What's up?
So that's a nice. I think that's a good topic to talk about. The true beef between Black Americans and Africans. Well, to me, I would say you deserve an apology from the Africans. To be honest.
Can you tell us why you're saying that?
Because the apology deserved from the Africans is because at some point they're supposed to support you, but they went and betrayed you because of the white man or because of a white person.
How did they betray us?
So back in the back before 1960s, around those times, there were activists from Africa. So when they meet the Black Africans, when they meet the Black Americans, they kind of like shown from the Black American communities, they just fight for themselves and then they leave the Black Americans away from the scene. And at the same time, if they have fought very well for the Black people in general, it will have benefit all of us. But up to now in Africa, we're suffering because of at some point one person or another put his interest, and that's it. So we're sorry because things didn't go well because of the past that hasn't happened well as well, and also even now at the moment as well, we as black Africans, we try to just go to the Western countries, and I would say we're just being slaves again. We're just being slaves. We are not like adding much more income or social income to the Black community. We're just adding social income to ourselves. We are not adding any good. I mean, any good positive impact to the Black community. We only adding positive impact to our families, and that's it.
May I ask a question? Given that you're from the Nigerian community, in your community, what is it that they discuss that we supposedly have done to them? Black Americans, not the United States, Black Americans. What is it that we allegedly have done to Black immigrants, to Africans? That's negative.
Well, to me, in my community, or what I see from the ordinary Nigerian in Nigeria, is we just copy, more especially we just copy the Black Americans culture, like the music. Back then, for music, we just copy your musical culture, and we try to copy your accent and all that stuff. But apart from that,
Yeah, but
that
I'm asking, what is it that Black Americans have allegedly done to Black immigrants? We keep hearing, you guys have always been nasty to us. You guys have always harmed us, and we want to know. Give us some examples. In this room, I really want somebody to come and not play games, and let's just have an authentic conversation. If there's something we've done, we'd like to hear about it. If we can iron it out, we will. We're just people in a space. But what do you
eh,
ever hear anybody citing anything that we've done to Black immigrants?
to be honest, if we would say somebody that has done something bad to us, is the white man, not the black man, because we all I mean, the Black American has struggled throughout his.
Right. Well,
So I don't think there's anything that the Black American has done to a black person, a black African, as
I
far
have
as I
a
know.
I wish somebody could tell us,
I have a
because when you
theory on this.
who's speaking?
Sorry, I don't mean to interject. My name
No,
is
no, no.
Zach.
But who's speaking? Okay, Zach. Zach, what is your ethnicity?
I'm Black,
From where?
North Carolina,
Where are your parents from?
Virginia,
Where are your grandparents from?
Virginia, and Houston.
Virginia and Houston.
Yep.
What do we call our funeral ceremonies?
Funeral ceremonies?
Black Americans. What do we call our funeral ceremonies?
I don't know.
You don't
Funerals?
know. You're a Black American, huh?
Funerals?
Okay, I'll give you a hint. You want a hint?
Yeah, I'll take a hint.
First word, home.
Home? I don't know.
Anybody want to?
Oh,
Homegoing.
Man, get your ass out of here, bro.
Homegoing, Zach. They call homegoing.
homegoing?
That was
Homegoing?
easy too. That was a lob.
Yeah. Well, I guess
Okay,
further
I'm
context,
gonna have
I
to.
am.
Zach.
Go ahead.
Zach.
Yeah.
I got to ask you a couple more questions.
Okay. I don't know if it's my mic or what, but
Because you're
I'm not
not
able
really.
to hear.
You're not.
I think you're breaking up a bit.
Is it me? Is it me or
Brandon,
is it
you're breaking up. She's
I think
breaking
it's
up a little bit.
Nordo's breaking up a little bit, must be, because I can hear Zach fine.
okay. Everybody else can hear me, right?
I can hear you.
Well, okay. Further context, I guess. I was about to say something, but I am Black. I identify with multiple different things. So I am multiracial, predominantly Black though, and did not grow up a very rooted existence anywhere. Kind of grew up all over the place. So anyway, my theory on I forgot what I was about to say. It was something that Baba Goni was speaking of here.
Zach, I don't know. Did you cut the line though? I was dropped from the room, so I'm just getting back in. But I think some people, I don't know if they cut the line, but I don't know. I remember you when I was dropped from the room, but I do remember that the Black Pragmatists and Dog Embassy TV and MP1, I believe, had their hands up before you. But I don't know because I was
Okay, my bad.
No, my Twitter glitched.
You right. You right.
Oh,
You right.
so I think the Black Pragmatists, I believe you were next. If that's okay, if Major and Dordos are good. Black Pragmatists, you have the floor.
Hello. Can y'all hear me?
Yep, hear you loud and clear.
Okay. So I was invited by Nordos to speak, and I'm assuming this because of the tweet I made yesterday. I had said that I'm convinced that some of you hate Africans more than you hate white supremacists. And granted, that tweet got a
Can
lot
you
of
guys hear me?
yeah, we can
Okay,
hear you.
I was booted out the room.
Oh wow. So yeah, Nordos invited me to speak, if I'm not
But wait a
mistaken.
minute, what happened to Zach?
Oh my god.
I don't know. I think he probably dropped off.
Oh, okay, but you see, he didn't know the basic stuff about our culture.
He said he was mixed race, so he probably ain't never grew up around us. He said he was mixed.
It's multicultural. And he only, he identified with a lot of cultures. But go ahead, Black.
Yeah, so Nordos, you invited me to speak, and I'm assuming it's in regards to the tweet I made, if I'm not mistaken. You invited me to speak, and I'm assuming it's in regards to the tweet I made, if I'm not mistaken. Hello?
Well, how about you? I think Nodos maybe have a connectivity issue, but how about you just tell us about that tweet and then about your thoughts about the question in general, and that way we can just fresh. So
Okay,
I think
cool.
we're probably in the Matrix. I think I'm in the Matrix too, but I think you can hear me for now.
Yeah, I can hear you clear. So when I made that tweet, it was in response to, it was, tweeted out of context. And, I can understand people, hopping in my comments and, saying what they said, but it was just a tweet out of context. I didn't add no.
Black Action, you have to unmute. The room was muted for a minute.
Can you guys
Okay. Hello?
Nodos, you're going in
Can you
I
talk
think you're in
about?
the Matrix.
Yeah, what's the? Yeah, we can hear you, Connie.
I can hear you now, Nordos. I can hear you now.
Okay. I can hear you guys. So who's speaking now?
Black was
it
talking about
me, the Black pragmatist, me.
What was the tweet about?
Okay, go ahead.
Oh no! So what I had said is like, I'm convinced some of y'all, some of you hate, Africans more than white supremacists, and and that was a tweet out of context. That was in reference to what Czech has said, where he was saying like he would rather side with Mexicans than Africans, knowing that Mexicans have white identifying white supremacists, they harbor anti-black sentiments, and they target they target black people in black residents and neighborhoods. They target black people in the workforce. They join these police unions, and I'm like, damn, like it's like, what I'm saying? I can understand, like, don't get me wrong, like I'm gonna call it tether, but like I'm just like, well, damn, is it that bad that you're willing to side with like white supremacists to, because you just don't like Africans? And that was really why I made that tweet.
Can I respond to that real quick?
Go ahead.
Okay, so here's the thing. I saw that tweet. I don't think I responded to it, but I saw it. Now here's the thing for me, and I thought about it. So it was a thought-provoking tweet, and I said, would I side with the Latino over an African? And it came down to, it depends on who the Latino is and it depends on who the African is. But here's why people are so adamant about pushing back against Africans. We had a higher expectation of Africans. We had a love for Africans. We thought that they were family. So they are extremely dangerous because they're the reason, like, the other immigrants aren't getting the smoke, because they can't come in and check boxes and pretend to be us. They can't get on TV and speak negatively about us because they look like us. And that's what's making them dangerous. Hold on, people are trying to, co-host, can you help when people raise their hand to bring them up? But,
I got you.
So the reason is they are very dangerous to us. We're seeing them running for office constantly. What's her name? Winsome Sears. In her acceptance speech, Winsome Sears is talking about, I've made it, and it just goes to show you if you just work hard. And she's against reparations. She's talking about we need to pull ourselves up by our bootstrap, ignoring 400 years of the worst oppression known to mankind. We can't have people who look like us pretend to be us on TV speaking for us. Sam Acho who has the show Uncomfortable Conversations with a Black Man. First of all, you're a Nigerian American, first generation. He went on Jimmy Kimmel's show and said, "Yeah," because he does his voice. So he goes on television and says, tell Jimmy Kimmel, I didn't know how to be Black until I started playing in the NFL. Even Jimmy Kimmel said, "What?" So how are you speaking for Black Americans? And you went to boarding school. You're from a Nigerian family, and you don't even know our experience. You don't know our history. Every time he opens his mouth, he says something wrong. We have to correct him about our history. Then he got on TV with police and said, we Black Americans should just get to know the police better and we should give them a hug. The fuckers that have been killing us since the 1600s. That's why we have so much venom for Africans. You don't get to come to our country. Hold on. You do not get to come to our country and speak ill of us out loud. What you do in your home is your business. But you're not going to get on television and undermine us. You're not going to run for office and start writing laws that harm us and many other things. So that's the venom you're seeing.
May I add something too, real quick, Black Pragmatic? I'm sorry, I'm just be very quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Another problem with what Nordo said, Emmanuel Ocho, whatever his name is. Okay, so he likes to cosplay as a quote unquote Black man, doing that flat blackness, like we are all Black the same. But he quickly will remind you in a minute he's really a Nigerian American. Here's how: when people thought that Donald Trump was not going to relinquish his presidency, and they thought we was going to have some type of constitutional crisis, as if America hasn't had thousands of them. America is not a constitutional crisis when it's hurting Black Americans. That's the only, when it hurts white Americans, that's when it's a crisis. Anyway, though, when everybody thought they was really about to go down in this country, what was it that Emmanuel Ocho did? He put a picture up on Twitter saying, "I got my Nigerian passport ready so I can get out of here in case things go south." So at that moment, he didn't say, "I'm going to stay here and fight with my Black American brothers and sisters to make sure they're protected." He said, "I'm going to get the hell out of here and go back to Nigeria." So another issue with me Black Pragmatists, and look, like I said, I've visited African countries before. I've had a great time, but there are some of them who cosplay as Black Americans, and yet when we need them to go to bat for us, like we've gone to bat for them, they are quick to say, "I got my passport ready, I'm out, see y'all later." But the history of Black Americans, even modern day, our generation, has been one of going to bat for Black Americans. Like Nordo said, we thought that Africans as a whole would ride with us en masse, but we have not seen that happening. That doesn't mean there aren't individuals that ride with us, because there are some who do, or who are trying to understand us, like Baba Goni, who's come in rooms and tries to understand where we're coming from. But as a whole, we're not seeing it. That's my take on it too.
Okay, that's cool.
Wait, before we move on, do you have an understanding of why we have so much venom now?
Yeah, I just wondered, what I was trying to say is that, like, it's a difference between like people saying how they feel about you and what they saying that you're Nakata, you're lazy, you don't work hard, and people who are actually who get together as a group and they target you and try to kill you, and they can get away with impunity. That's why I made that tweet. But I mean, I understand what y'all coming from. Don't get me wrong.
Wait, hold on real quick. So that is what they're doing. They are collectively coming to the United States and harming us. It's not just them. Hold on. It's not just them saying we're lazy. It's not them saying we're criminals. It's that's part of it, but they're doing it publicly. On our jobs, we are increasingly hearing all types of stories about Africans undermining us on our jobs, lying on us, reporting us, getting us fired. That is fucking dangerous. And it's not going to end well in real life. This is a problem. And they come into these spaces talking mad shit. We're like, listen to the conversation we're having. We're having a high level conversation. They'll come in, "Oh, nigger, 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 nigger. Oh, guys do is get on welfare. While I'm on welfare, if you Google it right now, the number one recipient of welfare is immigrants. Behind immigrants are white people. In the United States, it's not us, never has been us. It's always been white women in particular. But we don't like other so called Black people coming here using racist tropes against us and talking to white people and other people about us like we're some type of fucking trash when we actually built the country. And every time we say we built the country, they laugh. Oh, the white man beat you when you had to build the country. No, my G. We built this country during and after enslavement. Benjamin Banneker designed Washington, D.C. We've been some of the top architects. I can't think of the guy's name. I think it's Paul Allen. One of the top Black architects in this nation had to learn to write upside down because he was in such high demand that very wealthy white people hired him, but he wasn't allowed to sit next to them. So he had to learn to write and draw upside down. That's how we turned out to be such a great people. We are constantly being singed and burned. Every moment, every day we wake up, we have to have a new plan to jump around white people, to avoid some law that they have set up to harm us, to avoid getting killed in the streets. We had to figure out how to jump higher, speak better, tell jokes better, work harder, work smarter, just so we can survive in this country. So it is hurtful to have people who look like us who claim I'm escaping this horror and that horror, but now you're coming here being a part of our horror. This is called systemic racism. They don't chase us down with horses anymore. They don't just shoot us in the street anymore. Well, the police do it for them. And in some cases, they do it like they did Ahmaud Arbery. But they have systemic racism now. So it doesn't look as insidious. And then we've got Black immigrants coming here participating in that system. It's a problem. That's the beef. It is a one-sided beef. It is unilateral.
That's understandable, and I agree that Black Americans we got. Dr. Claude Anderson even said, we're an exceptional people because what we've been through. How we cut our illiteracy rate when we was coming out of slavery. We had an illiteracy rate of 98%, and we cut that in half in 30 years from 1868 to 1878, and we cut that in half, and we different, we're exceptional. I wasn't trying to cause any confusion with my tweet. I'm just saying, I don't want to get.
No, you were fine for your tweet.
Okay, cool. Because at the end of the day, white supremacy, is they of course don't get me wrong. I'm gonna call it tether, and I'm gonna check each other when they being disrespectful. But at the end of the day, it's white supremacy, and and whatnot, because they're the one who own most of the nation's wealth and resources, and where they can make decisions, create policies, enact bills that can harm us. As you can tell from the Highway Act, from Jim Crow laws, stuff like that. So it ain't for me. It ain't nothing. It ain't nothing for us to carry. Handle some off-code African, huh?
May I say something real quick though? The problem is you can be a Black white supremacist. That's the thing. You see, that's why I don't like using the term. I do use it, but I don't always like the term white supremacy. I prefer the term anti-Black bigot, because it's not so much about thinking white people are superior, because some white people don't like us and they don't think they're superior. They just don't like us. It's about being anti-Black American. So you can be a Black white supremacist. And to me, we don't have any, look, Black Americans, like you said, we've already gone through enough, and we're still going through it. We haven't gotten reparations or restitution, compensation. We haven't gotten a damn apology for all the stuff we've been through, right? But then it's even worse, like Nordo said, when you have imposters who come here, look like us, they can get to go into certain positions, and people say, you see, we're not racist against Black people. We have a Black person here in a high position. Then you check their paperwork and you find out that they are black, but they're not a black American. And that same person, because they want to be accepted, just like some black Americans coon, they start cooning and they start being anti-black. What I'm saying is, black pragmatists, you can be an African person from an African nation and be anti-white supremacist. You could be a black American and be white supremacist. And if you are black and you're supporting white supremacy, you are even a larger threat than the actual white person who's a white supremacist, because that means you are turning on people whose back you are supposed to have.
Hey, anything else, Black pragmatist?
No, that's all I had. I just want to, make some clarifications. I don't want people thinking, oh, I'm out here, buddy, lovey-dovey with
No,
the with the, with the
I thought it was thought provoking. His tweet said he thinks that we hate Africans more than what? White supremacy.
Yeah, I can pin it in the thing.
Yeah, but I mean, I thought it was a thought provoking tweet, and like you guys see, I people can come up here and disagree. I'm just not going to engage in petty conversations like they were trying to have in that other space. Just lying and making up stuff on Black Americans. Like, you know what he said, and I think did Marcel, someone mentioned this. They said, oh, they're just they've been conditioned to hate Africans. Any freedmen in this room, any FBA, any ADOS, anyone, can you tell me if you grew up in a household where the topic of Africans ever came up in your life?
I can tell you this. It came up in my household, but whenever most of us who are in this movement, I guess the conscious community, most Black Americans who are conscious, most of us actually were raised to revere Africa, to revere Africans. We were raised to call it the motherland. We were raised to say we were descendants of kings and queens. And that guy told us some hold on to Egypt. He's dumb as hell. We didn't talk about Egypt a lot in my household. When my household, we was reading about the Swahili trading cities. We were reading about the Kingdom of Congo, because a lot of Gullah Geechee people were stolen from the Kingdom of Congo. We were talking about civilizations that preceded Egypt. Right.
Were you ever told a racial slur about an African?
Never.
Were you ever told to stay away from Africans? Were you
Never.
ever told anything negative about Africans?
No,
that
my
is
mother
not a
used
thing.
to tell me. My mother once bought us a book. My mother used to buy us National Geographic, certain issues, because they were on some anti-Black mess too, like always. But she used to buy us National Geographic books and videos about the African continent, because she wanted us to see that it wasn't just starving kids who needed someone to give them spoonfuls of peanut butter. So a lot of Black American families, we historically have been defensive of who we used to think were our brothers and sisters in the African continent. That's why we were fighting against the Italians when they were trying to invade Ethiopia. That's why we were fighting against the white Boers when they were doing apartheid in South Africa. That's why we were fighting against the invasion of Mozambique. That's why a lot of the first Black independent fighters on the African continent against the European colonizers were welcomed with open arms in HBCUs. Black Americans have historically been raised to love and revere not just Africans, but any other person from the diaspora, whether from the Caribbean or Latin America. But we have yet to ever get that type of love back. And we are sick of it, and we're making no apologies now for being more selective to whom we support.
Thank you. So who's up next? Do you know, Major?
I think it's Gone Embassy.
And
that's
guys,
correct.
after you
it's
speak, we're
Doug
gonna
and
have
me.
to move you to. Okay, so after you speak, we're gonna have to move you to the audience, because there's other people waiting in the queue to come up, and you're more than welcome to raise your hand and come back up later. Go ahead, whoever's next.
Hello, everybody. Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon to everyone on the space.
Good evening. Where are you from?
I'm from Nigeria. I'm Nigerian myself as well. My name is Babajide Alao, and
Okay, hold on. Are you moving fast, man? Do you live in Nigeria? Do you live in the States? You live in the UK? You live where?
that's a very good question, and I really appreciate the fact that we're taking it slowly. That's good. I'm trying to also zone out from the noise in the background. My is out there crying. I should be getting some support from his mother, but I guess it is what it is.
Fire
moving
her.
forward,
Fire her. She's
yeah, I
fired.
wish I could. I wish I could. Moving on. Anyways, I'm speaking to you from Ontario, Canada.
Oh, okay, cool.
Did I answer your question? Okay, cool.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
So when I saw this title, usually I try to stay away from conversations like this since since Tariq blew off the internet the last time. And yeah, I think I had a time where I had an engagement with him, but I think he didn't want to hear the positivity from where I was coming from. I responded really quickly within about a minute, and he took me off. But that's okay. That's the way it is. So, what's the true beef between Black Americans and Africans? Honestly, I don't know. Um, this is what I've seen since when I was growing up. I'm 35 years old, so I was growing up in Nigeria. Um, I've always seen this negative image, which we see on the TV. That of course, the mainstream media in the United States tries to project about Africans Americans who are living in the United States, descendants of ancestors who went through a lot of trauma and horror. I'm talking about
Can I
slavery.
I just want to ask you a couple of questions. So can you tell me, like, what did you see, like, negative TV shows? Can you tell us what those shows are that you actually watched that were negative about Black Americans?
Well, I have a very bad memory. I can't say I can tell you exactly what those shows are word for word. But
Okay, but
yeah,
did you see did you guys see Bill Cosby, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air?
yeah. I saw Bill Cosby. I saw French Prince of Bel-Air. I also saw the news with Tupac and Biggie as well. And the propaganda around violence within Black Americans.
Right.
There were so many negative images.
Well, hold on. I want to kind of stop there for a minute. And this is why I want a dialogue. I don't want a room where people are just name calling and yelling at one another. This is where we have a problem. If you're seeing the Bill Cosby show and Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, every time I get in these rooms, people have seen a ton of positive shows about us. But somehow the thing that sticks most is that everyone claims it's this negative imagery. So if you're seeing all sides of Black people, how can you just walk away going, they're bad?
Now, I'm not done yet, actually. I appreciate the fact that you pointed that out. Um, you mentioned the fact that whether I'd seen Bill Cosby or not, I was actually highlighting the negative part first. I was still going to get to that area as well too. But like I said, we were showing a lot of different images, some mostly negative. I would like to put that word. But yes, again, a lot of things that actually shaped my own personality, my lifestyle, and helped me, define who I wanted to be or what I wanted to look like was more or less of the Bill Cosby, the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air kind of, shows. If you look at my dressings, even to date, I don't wear what's it called? I don't wear necklaces. I don't carry bling blings, things like that. It's never been my kind of person, just because of those positive image that I saw on TV. Now, when I say those images, because when I look around my own current society back then, while I was growing up, there wasn't as much of motivations around me to want me to want to aspire to become anything that's, as great as that. But then again, a lot of people choose whatever images or whatever decision or whatever,
I
whatever
know,
content they want
but
to learn from.
I got to stop you because I really want to get to the crux of this issue. So if you're seeing all this negative imagery,
I gotta stop you too.
hold
It's
on,
because
please.
you're all black fucking monkey niggers in America. You got dick sucking lips, you fucking American monkey.
Fucking Negroes, bro. Fucking monkeys. Fucking monkeys making spaces. Nigga, never knew monkeys could talk.
I didn't want you to remove them, Major.
Yeah, but
Nah,
I feel
nah,
you
just
though.
for a
I
minute.
got you.
No. I like people, and this is why, like, my rooms aren't those like wild ass rooms. I like them to come and show their ass. And for the Black Americans who are new to the conversation, they need to see this. They need to see other so-called Black people being gutter, being hateful, being childish. They need to see it. I wasn't going to let it go on forever, but let them play themselves. Let people who don't know really know what it is. Back to what's the guy's name? Dog Embassy
Yeah,
TV.
yeah, I'm
What
with
he,
you.
but wait, I
Yeah.
have a question. So I just kind of want to work through this point because the purpose of this room is really to get
Pussy,
to the
bitch asshole. Fucking niggas, all you men
now
faggots.
hold so what names what do you want to just call me names, or is there something you want to say?
You're a fuck.
You want to just call me names? Is that what you want to do? That's what you're about? That's what your culture's about?
Fuck you, black.
You're a grown man on a stage calling a woman out her name. That's what your culture's about?
Yeah, fuck you, hoe.
Yeah. All righty. Now, everybody report
You,
at Goofy FN. Everybody report him.
We're not gonna
Everybody
have. We're not
report
gonna be
him.
able to have a conversation with
fuck you, nigga.
this kind of
Everybody
back
report
and
him.
forth.
Did everybody report him? Okay. So he's gone. So back to Dog TV. Here's a question I really want to ask you because I'm glad that you're taking the time to actually have a conversation. So here's the issue. I pointed this out a minute ago. You have enough imagery, great positive imagery of us to of whatever, and all rappers aren't bad, and all rap imagery is not bad, but that whatever this negative imagery you guys are saying is so terrible. You have enough. You've seen Michael Jackson. You've seen Whitney Houston. You've seen, I'm trying to think throughout history. What are the Diana Ross and the Supremes? You've seen our biggest names in the world. And somehow y'all leave the whole continent. I'm gonna focus on Nigeria since you're from Nigeria. Nigeria is crime ridden. Nigeria has a bunch of rich Nigerians running around with the bling bling you're talking about. Nigeria has a ton of drugs, a ton of gangs, girls getting kidnapped by the 400s and 500s coming back pregnant. But how do Nigerians leave their country and somehow think, ooh, them niggas over there in the US, ooh, 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 those are the criminals? Nigeria just surpassed India for the highest poverty rate in the world. So this negative imagery is something that I believe, and many of us believe, you're choosing to believe because of your caste system and your tribalism. Am I wrong? Am I right?
So you see, this is a very good conversation, and I really appreciate this.
No, I
Honestly, I
appreciate
do.
you, having
Um,
it. I really do.
you see, when I was talking about my experiences, living growing up in Nigeria, I talked about the negative views, and I also later on mentioned on at least some of the positive which shaped my own individual life as a person. Now, the same thing just happened right now when you were also looking at Nigeria in that same light.
No, no, no,
One
no,
thing
no,
that I
no,
think
no, no,
is
no,
just
no, no,
hold
no.
on,
I
hold
got
on.
to stop you. No, that's not what I'm doing. I'm going to comment on how we view Nigeria. I'm telling you what we're shown. But we
That's the
don't,
same
but
thing I'm
hold
saying
up,
as
but
well,
hold
right?
up. But we don't treat you less than when you come here. You guys are constantly telling us, oh, the white man shows us this. Well, the white man shows us all the negative shit about you.
Now, one thing I would appreciate
Wait,
that you would
wait,
do is that you could
wait.
say maybe some people do that. You don't want to say you guys, because when you say you,
Okay, so what I'm saying is you're choosing, and collectively, it's too many of you. That's the conversation we're trying to have. This gaslighting has to stop. I can pull up evidence. You guys know that's what you're doing, and it's a choice. How is it that you guys tell us the common enemy is the white man? But here in the United States, Nigerians in particular, Nigerians, Somalis, and Ethiopians in particular, come here look down their noses at us, and we don't see anything nice about any of these countries. Nigeria, we see people hacking people with knives, with machetes. Do we believe all you guys are wielding machetes? No. We hear about the prostitution in Nigeria and around the world. Do we believe all your women are prostitutes? No. That's what we're trying to get to. This has to stop. It's a choice that you're making, and you're not telling the full truth that it's being discussed in your homes in Nigeria and here and in Canada and in the UK, everywhere you guys are, in Ireland and the Ukraine. We're better than them niggas. Them niggas are criminals. That's a choice. I'm done. Go ahead.
So nice choice. So the Noidros, I apologize. I'm really having a hard time pronouncing names these days.
Just call me Connie. It's okay.
Thank you, Connie. I appreciate that. That's much easier. So in 2015, here in Canada, when the police pulled a gun at me and was about to shoot me, he didn't care if I was African or Nigerian or anything. He just saw me as a black man who was a big threat to him. It was a policewoman, actually. My sincere apologies. Just want to be very clear. And when I challenged her in front of officers, superior officers, when they finally came there.
I gotta stop you. I wanted to see where you're going. We can touch on that in a minute.
You don't let me finish conversations, and you cut me off.
No,
how can I completely communicate with you?
Because you're moving off topic. We're discussing making a choice about how you view us. That's the topic right now. Then we can move on to something else. That's how a conversation goes. You don't just get to ignore something. That's the problem. Hold on, please. That's the problem we're having in these rooms. Every time we bring up a point and we think it's a substantive point, you guys pivot to another topic. So why are you guys making a choice to view us negatively when our strengths, our attributes, our contributions, our talents are known around the world? Why don't you choose to see us as great people? Why collectively are so many of you choosing to look at us as losers, baby mamas, bullet bags, as you call us? Can we just talk about that? Let's flesh this out.
Okay, let me answer your question. Well, I cannot speak for any other person but myself.
But you know your community. I can speak for what I know to be happening in my community.
Okay, I cannot speak for any other person other than myself. And I cannot speak for any other person outside of my family, of where I was raised in a polygamous home. So I have over 23 siblings.
Okay, but what's the point of the conversation?
What I'm trying to say here is this. You're talking about a community.
I don't want, right? I'm going to keep cutting you off. No, because you're playing games now. No.
I'm not playing no games. You're the one playing games with me right now because you keep cutting me off every single time.
And I'm going to keep cutting you off. This is what I'm trying to say. Let's have a conversation. If you're going to come up here with anecdotal stories about you and your family, I'm not trying to hear it. We are speaking generally and collectively. That's why it says Black Americans and Africans. It doesn't say whatever you said your name is. And it didn't say what's the beef with Connie and whatever your name is. If you can't speak on what you know to be happening or not happening in your community, there's no point in you talking. I hope you understand what I'm saying. Go ahead, please.
Well, I guess it's okay. It's fine. You don't want to hear what I have to say.
No, not if you're just going to talk about you, only what you know, and only what your
family
knows.
You can continue whatever you're doing. That's fine.
Okay, go ahead. Who's up next?
I think it was MP1, and then we'll go Amanda, and then Ben.
Okay, but do you guys understand? Okay. Do you guys understand what I'm doing? Is it clear what I'm doing?
Yeah, I understand. You wanted him to answer your question, like, and he wasn't really answering your
question.
And
it's not even just answering the question.
I think I was next.
Okay, but this is what happens in every.
I was next.
This is what happens in every room. You see how you bring up a solid point. Now he's on to that talking point about police. Why do Africans choose to view us negatively while in their own countries They are getting killed by police at even higher rates than us. They're getting beaten. They can't even speak. They don't have a First Amendment right. There's drugs in almost every country, gangs, high pregnancy rates, fatherless homes. That's why they're leaving their countries. But you want to come here and tell the most civilized Black people on the planet that we're not shit. That's a choice. Why? Why are you making that choice? That's really some fucked up shit. Like I said, all we see is poor Africans with flies and just terrible things that the white media shows us. Do we run around going, oof, them Africans? No, that's a choice and it's going to stop. Go ahead, who's ever's next.
Yeah, I agree with you wholeheartedly, Nordos. But as far as far as us looking at them, or speaking to the topic of the room is the true beef between African Americans and Africans. Like, I don't think it's no beef on our side because we don't, like you said, like Marcel said, like you said, we was never raised in a household, especially if you conscious, in a household that had vitriol, or their parents told you vitriol about African people. They feel like y'all said, their parents and told them to stay away from us. They done made disparaging names like Akata, like, and Jareer about us. Like, we never did that. That's not even in our DNA as a culture. We always looked at them as family. My mama had African artifacts all across the house.
I have,
You know what I'm saying?
I'm sitting in my den right now. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 African masks on the wall.
Exactly. And that's most Black houses, especially with some consciousness, and so it's never been from our side. And I'm not going to say all Africans, but like you said, in a collectively, it's a collective. Like, it's, you find some cool ones that's cool, that understand your plight, and they roll with us. And I salute them, you know what I'm saying, that roll with us, because I got kicked off a stage yesterday because I said I'm a Pan-Africanist to an extent. I said, if I know you, I'm not a Pan-Africanist like on the whole kumbaya stuff, because I know that's not true. But I know that, you know what I'm saying, if I get to know you on an individual basis, and you have the same ideology as me, and we can work together and do something, then I could rock with you. Until then, I don't know how you think. I don't know how I can't rock with you. I gotta see what.
So what you're saying, MP1, is theoretically, like most Black Americans, you're a Pan-Africanist to the degree that you would like to see us come together, right?
Right.
Do business together, travel back and forth,
right,
and things of that nature. That's what we were on until these last, really, I think 7 to 10 years, and we started noticing how Africans are moving. But yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Exactly. Now you see, you were a smart woman. You knew what I was saying. I was in the room, like I said before. They kicked me out. They was all coming at me, so it's crazy. But at the end of the day, you knew exactly what I was saying. And unfortunately, like I said, I'm not gonna be cool with no tethers that get into our politics. Like, you brought up the brother that said he don't believe in reparations, and he ain't been around Africans till he started playing football. I mean, African Americans till he started playing football, and stuff like that. We foundational Black American. We built this country, and y'all got an opportunity from the strength and our sacrifices through this country to come here. So you can never come and talk down on us. We are a phenomenal people. We are a very phenomenal people, and we have made so many attributes to the world for Black people. Is amazing. So they shouldn't be looking down on us no matter what. Like, at the end of the day, what you seeing on TV, that shouldn't affect you. That's something that you shouldn't believe, because like she said, we see y'all, they portray y'all with flies on y'all and everybody in poverty, and some of it is actually true, but we know every part of Africa don't look like that. So we're not gonna put all y'all into the same bag. And then one more thing is, I think people got Tariq Nasheed misconstrued. He came into the security tribe room, and he does talk down on tethers and talk down on Africans and other immigrants that get in on our business, talk down on us and try to undermine us. Tariq doesn't have a problem with Africans. Tariq's best friend for the last 20 years is Ola. That's his assistant. That man is Nigerian. That's like his brother. So Tariq doesn't have a problem with Africans. So like the brother, I forgot the brother that was speaking earlier, black, that made the statement that on his Twitter feed that some black say y'all, some black Americans hate Africans more than these other groups. That's not, absolutely. It's some people that does have that vitriol. But for the majority of us, we don't have that vitriol. And Tariq, like I said, he don't hate Africans. He love the riders. He love the people that support our cause, that's African or immigrant or whatever. He love them. But the tethers, he gonna spit that fire at y'all, and he gonna let y'all know y'all ain't cool. And he ain't rocking with y'all. And I feel the same way, and I land. Thank you for letting me speak.
We can go to Amanda.
Thank you for letting me speak. I appreciate this room, actually.
Amanda, where are you from? Tell us where you from.
I am from Ethiopia.
Do you live in the States? Where do you live?
Yes, I do.
Where do you live specifically? Which state?
I live in Georgia.
Okay. Hello, Amanda. What's up?
How are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
Okay. And this is, I hear this both side of, Africans and African Americans, and what is the cause of this issue that we're so against each other. I hear you where you're coming from. Yes, in different countries, African Americans are painted certain way, just like Africans are painted different way in America. What we see what we see in America is not what it is on the ground in Ethiopia or any African country. And what we see in United States as an African Americans, we don't see them or view them in that way either, that we have been brainwashed by the white people. So what is the white man is doing is causing division even amongst the African nation itself. Even in one nation, in one country, which is Ethiopia, has 83 ethnicity, and they have caused them division.
Right, but Amanda, we
Yes.
gotta stop real quick, okay? So I'm back on the same point. We can talk about Western imperialism, we can talk about the white demon all day. We're in 2022. Can you close your mic, whoever's mic is open, because it's making me echo, please? Thank you so much. No one in 2022, you're making a choice to shit on other people, not just Black Americans, all the tribalism going on across
What about
the
niggers?
continent. All the tribalism going on across the country, the continent of Africa, is a choice. At some point, now I'm going to focus on the continent right now. At what point does Africa wake up collectively and say, you know what, we have got to stop? We have got to get along so that we can have a prosperous Black continent, so our respective countries can be prosperous. So what I'm saying is, I don't want to get into what the white man is doing. That's not the conversation. If I have beef,
I understand.
hold on.
Right.
If I have beef with Major, I have beef with Major, right? I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, well, Amanda told me this, and that's why I don't like Major. That's a choice. We're adults. We are all people in the biggest struggle of our lives. We're all being genocided. So my point is, you guys have got to stop with this talking point about what the white man shows you. Even in your politics, they never show you guys being stately. They always show you guys fighting in parliament. Crazy shit. We don't think any less of you. We want you to start moving like we move. Black first. Black first and foremost on the continent and in the United States. I'm done. Go ahead, Amanda.
Amanda, go ahead. This bitch for what?
Who's talking,
Amanda, you
Major?
there?
Um,
It's Johnny.
sorry to interrupt, but
Wait,
this
hold on.
Johnny Holstar guy is putting gay porn on the jumbotron, so y'all might want to get rid of him.
Okay. So was he the one calling her out her name?
Yeah, and he's sharing gay porn on the jumbotron.
Okay, let me go up here and remove that. Major, can you remove that? Major, ground
I
control
got
to
it.
Major Tom.
I'm doing it.
Okay, thank
Dang,
you.
he put a lot up there. Come on, bro.
Yeah, but I want people to see, like, this isn't one of those rooms. This is really, anybody that's been in my spaces know how I move. I'm gonna say what I have to say, and you might not like what I have to say, but at least I'm being honest, and I want people to come here and be honest. But we're not gonna have a room of just, you this, you that, you this. Like, nah, we're not doing that. We're not on that. Amanda, come off your mic, please. Amanda, you're not with us anymore. Okay, who's
Next up was Ben, and then Jason,
okay?
Hey,
and
how's it
then
going,
Zach.
sister?
Hey, go ahead. Who's speaking?
It's Ben.
Ben, where are you from?
I'm in Canada by way of Chicago.
What's your ethnicity?
FBA, both sides.
You sure? How are you coming from Chicago to Canada? What's going on in Canada?
Immigrated to Canada.
But why? For why, man?
Oh man, I got I had invested in some real estate and niggas didn't pay the rent, so my credit got smashed out. So
I know
went to
you were going to tell me
Canada.
the real.
Okay, you asked me, so
He
I went to
kept it. He
Canada.
kept it a buck.
I know. I was like, well, damn.
Yeah, it looked good on paper, you know what I'm talking about? It was cheap and
Yeah.
but location. But anyway,
I don't really like Canada.
I mean, with Canada, I got, man, when I came up here as an immigrant, because I'm an immigrant up here now, right?
Uh-huh.
I got $30,000 in credit by being an immigrant.
Oh, now see.
Like instantly?
It took me a week. They have a thing called, I'll show you on that bullshit. You can look this up online.
I'm moving to Canada.
It's called, you can check out RBC, CIBC, Scotia Bank. It's called the Newcomer Program. And I had a job already, so I had how much I was making and stuff like that. So I got like $5,000 instant credit card. I had no credit up there. And if I needed a car, they have a newcomer program for that for immigrants. They have Ford, Nissan. You can go in, sign and drive. And if I want to buy a house, they'll give me almost up to 30% down. And if I stay in it for 5 years, it's called a grant. I don't have to pay that back.
So it's kind of like the United States, how the immigrants here get lots of
Yes,
resources
but
when
the
they
difference
first land.
is I didn't tell you that
they
I
get
came
more.
over there. I didn't tell you. The difference is I didn't tell you that I came over there with $2 and tell the
Right.
Canadians to pull their bootstraps up. No, I'm
Right.
telling you like it is. You know what I'm talking about? I get more benefits than the native-born Canadians.
Now, can you stop on that point for everybody in the room that might not get the sarcasm and tell them what you're saying?
Oh, I didn't come over there, bat my mouth in the native Canadians talking about pull yourself up, you're lazy. I came over here with $2 and my mama was broke, my daddy was broke, and I'm
What
doing
you're
it.
saying is you didn't pretend that you got there and was some magical immigrant and worked your way up and you only had 75 cents in your pocket. And now you're doing better than the other Black Canadians, right? You didn't do that, right?
Nah, keep it a
Exactly.
buck.
Yeah. You notice a lot of Black immigrants everybody came here and worked their way up. None of them ever say, yeah, we were on a housing program. We got EBT cards. We got cash money. They never tell you about that.
Oh no, it's like with the whites, they never tell you about the homestead land they got. You know what I'm talking about? You know, but being up here, it's a lot of, I'm in an area where it's a lot of Nigerians. And they are some of the biggest coons. You know what I mean? They coon so bad that I feel uncomfortable around them. You know what I mean? It's embarrassing. Because I don't, 'cause I don't, white folks, they think I'm part of these niggas, you know what I'm saying? And when they hear a white person say, you're not like them them Black Americans. That's like euphoria to these niggas.
Music to their ears.
Music to the and this tripped out thing. They not built like us. I seen it was a Nigerian woman saying she was crying on the bus because some French speaking Canadian said something to her. French now. How you let a French white woman make you cry? Because you know an American sister would have beat her ass. You know what I'm talking about? They would put hands on her. But you crying, you know. But I don't want to talk too long. But the reason that they pick and choose these images, that's an excuse. Oh, we see the media. They use the same talking points as white people use. And the reason that they pick these negative images out is that these Africans, man, you got to look where they come from. They have nobody to really, like, we got so many celebrities and inventors and revolutionaries to choose from, to
and
be proud
scholars,
of. Yes.
international scholarship we have.
And we came up from nothing, and we have survived under the most brutal system for so many years. They don't have that, so they have a jealousy and envious of us. That's why they're dangerous. You never want a person that's envious and jealous of you, because they are always plotting to take you down. And they won't, that's their whole goal in life, is to take you down. If you became a successful singer and you got some hating ass broad in your mix, she will cross you out. You know what I'm talking about? She will smile in your face, but the first chance she gets to undermine you, she will. And that will mean everything to her. So, and the last point I want to make is, if you can check down there in Houston, the Nigerians are coming over here in Houston, and they're getting jobs in the jails as jailers. They're working in the prisons as prison guards. They're going to law school. They're lawyers, they're judges and prosecutors. And you can ask, even the white inmates would tell you that the Nigerian prison guards are worse to Black Americans than the goddamn rednecks. You can investigate that.
Can we stop on that point? If people, anything said in this room, if I hear something that I don't believe is fact, I'm going to correct it. And when people say something that's fact, I want you to go look it up. You can Google it. Google Nigerian prison guards, and there's articles about Black prisoners saying that these Nigerians are so brutal to them, and this is part of the cooning. They're so eager to please the white man. It's just like these Black American cops. You know how they get all brutal in front of the white cops?
It's not even pleased. They really hate us.
Oh, I
you
know
understand
that too,
this. They really have
wanna...
an indignation for us. And
yeah.
and that's why they're so dangerous, because they're a white man and a Mexican, we can tell them apart. But these Nigerians, especially when they have kids and they can speak the same language as us, as far as the vernacular, they can infiltrate us. That's why they're more dangerous. They're like a cancer that hides out, and then the immune system doesn't recognize it.
I hear you. Go ahead. Sometimes I hope you guys don't mind. I'll stop on a certain point just to drive it home. Feel free to continue.
Oh no, I don't want to talk too long. There's other hands up, but we really have to, the loving game and the ally. These people have showed their hands. They have told us who they are. So it's up to us to now build the wall up, and they're done. It's just us now. We ain't got no friends. It's done. That Pan-Africanism is suicidal. I'm out.
It's suicidal. It's Pan-Africanism. For anybody that claims Pan-Africanism works, that was an ideology. It's a failed ideology, a failed theory. It's always been one-sided. In the last 450 years, not one African country has done anything for us. Everybody knows what we're going through. The United Nations said that the United States needs to be sanctioned for crimes against humanity for how we're treated in this country. You can Google that. It says the UN task force, these are the keywords, UN task force, sanctions, United States, Black Americans or African Americans. But anyway, now I forgot my train of thought. So up next is Bobby Mayberry, I believe.
No. Let's hold on, Bobby. It was Jason, but Jason, if you don't mind, can we let Amanda's back? Can we let Amanda take her turn and we go back to you, Jay?
Sure, no problem.
Yeah, let's
Thank
do that.
you.
Hey, Amanda.
All right, thank you. for allowing me. Okay, I understand, the both side of the frustration. I believe
Well,
it's
now,
miseducation.
Amanda, what's the both sides? What are we
When
doing?
I say the both side is when I talk about African American and Africans.
I know, but
See,
hold up.
there
Tell us.
is
Hold up. I'm going to
okay.
question.
Go ahead.
What is the African side? Why are Africans frustrated with us? What is it that we are or have done to Africans?
Okay, from what I hear and what I hear from Africans, most of the Africans that come to as a refugee here to America, yes, they come to refugee because their country is being bombed. I understand that. When they come here, they feel that the African Americans and make fun of them, they talk down at them, they look down at them. That's what I hear. That's the part I hear from them. Then the African Americans are saying, no, these Africans come here, they take the opportunity away from us, and then they talk back at us or they look down at us. That's the two parts that I hear. I'm an African woman. I am Ethiopian. I'm married to an African American from Mississippi. I know the history. I understand the history. I've read the history. I thank God for Martin Luther King from all my life. Because of him, we, the melatonin people, have a freedom of speech, a
No,
freedom
that's
to
not why we
run.
have our freedom. That's our history is much larger than Martin Luther King. But go
Of
ahead.
course it is. Of course it is. But, he made it for even Africans to even come to United States, is what I'm saying. It's just based on what I have learned. Again, me from my son, he is Ethiopian, he's an African American, he's black. So he will have the same treatment. So when black movement comes in, black life movement, we come out there with our priest, with our people, with everybody, because we don't like what is happening to African Americans. I don't like to see, when African American gets stopped, I stop next to them, just to see what the police officer is going to do.
You know what's
Why?
so
Because
funny?
it affects me.
I just did that yesterday. I
No,
spent an hour and a
yeah,
half.
I do that because
Yeah.
it affects me personally in my community. I don't know. I know, and I'm not going to say, you're not right, because you are right. There has been a lot of racism against each other. Why? Because we're not educating ourselves enough. So there is a division. That division needs to stop. African Union has to wake up to what is happening, to stop and to be the leaders for our country, for even the continent itself.
Can we stop on that point?
Yes.
Okay, so that's one of my major speaking points is with what is going on, like I have in the title, this so-called alleged beef, because we never had beef with Africans collectively. So we're really kind of stunned, hurt, angry. But people keep saying, well, how long are you guys going to keep this up? And my answer is until the African continent can unite, until the African continent looks at itself as one collective Black people, we can't trust Africans to come over here because they can't even govern themselves. They're running the continent into the ground, and I'm calling it beef, but tribalism. Them being tribal is allowing the whites have been over there, the Germans, the Arabs, the Chinese, the Middle Easterners. Who else is over there? The Indians. There is not going to be a Black continent. So the way I look at it, Amanda, is if you guys can't even stop fighting, I don't mean you, Amanda. I'm talking about the continent. You guys can't stop fighting long enough to save your own countries. We get it now. We know damn well you're going to keep being destructive to us in our country. So that is our problem. This is a survival thing. And then people keep saying we're divisive and we're xenophobic because what we have said is no, we're not Black anymore. Black is some catch all kettle that Africans and Caribbeans are using to thrive off of us. We have our own ethnicity. We are Black Americans. We are Black freedmen, foundational Black Americans, Native Black Americans, whatever you want to call yourself. We have a bunch of tribes as well. But with our 50 states, we get along. I can travel anywhere in the US and go to any black neighborhood and not be fearful. Any black neighborhood as a black woman and not be fearful. These are my people. That's the same. That's like having 50 countries. And then when I'm in spaces and stuff, Africans say, oh, but you have gangs. Gang membership is less than 1% of our population. So anyway, go ahead, Amanda. I just wanted, you know me, got to drive some points home.
Yeah, you have point there. But again, we are in a process of working and trying to get everyone to understand you guys have been brainwashed to be divided within the continent itself. So many of us in different community are getting gathered. We're gathering together, trying to form some kind of education. Like, listen, we all are the same people. There has been division has come into our countries. They have been doing this for many years. It doesn't benefit us. It does not benefit us by being divisive. And instead of, having a fair trade within each other, trying to grow what they are looking for, because many of the resources that's coming to the Europe and to the Western world is from Africa. It's stolen from Africa. Why are we the beggars coming to United States and looking out, or looking for a handout, or in trying to go into the system to try to learn the system and trying to get acclimated when you don't have anything when you come here? So again, do we hate our country? No, we don't hate our country, but a lot has happened and we're trying to change it. We're trying to get the continent
How are you guys
all
trying to
together,
change?
Huh?
How are you guys trying to change it? Can you give us some examples?
We're trying to change it by trying to educate in each and one of the ethnicities. Listen, you are one people. Why are you against each other? Why can't we have enough resources that we can work together and be a continent that is rich in every resources there is. We have it, but we don't know how to use it because we didn't give each other the time to even access it
Well, let me ask you this,
because it's
Amanda.
been so
So
much
when
division.
when you said you guys are trying to educate each and every country, each and every person, I mean, is there a movement? Because the purposes of my
Yeah,
spaces,
we have a lot of movements. I mean, we have
but
a
I
no
need you to
more.
name them.
Okay, there is a no more movement. There is break the
Wait,
silence. So when
go
we say
slow, go slow. Hold up. What's the
okay,
first one?
no more. So the no
What
more
country is
movement.
that?
This country okay. It started in Ethiopia. It went to Mali. It went to a lot of African continents. They start saying no more, and the British country has to leave. They need to get their military out of their country so they can go back and give us the chance to work amongst each other, amongst the tribalism, and become one that the
Okay,
dream
and
that we always say
is
Africanism.
is that a current movement?
That is the current movement. The recent one is break the silence. What is the break the silence? Break the silence when you see one ethnicity being attacked by different ethnicities. Break that silence. Look out for the innocent people. We're not so focused on the government. The governments themselves are trying to see how can they luxury their their resources. How can they use it? Who can they sell it to without being sanctioned by America? Because America is trying to sanction them, even the international, not to give them a loan so they can reproduce what they need to reproduce. We have enough fertile
Natural
land. We
resources,
have
yeah.
the gold. But we can't use it because that's what the system that they put into our continent is, to make sure that we remain poor and they remain rich by
Okay.
taking the
No,
resources.
Amanda, I get it. We get it. It's the same tactics used in the United States. But again, here's my question, and then we're gonna have to move on, or I'll give you a minute to speak on whatever you want to speak on. But something that's important to note: these countries in Africa are predominantly black countries. Melanated people. So
Yes.
regardless, like real quick, for those of you who don't know, and I don't know if this is still in place, but the West Africans were the last to come to the table. Someone's mic is open. Would you mind closing it?
Okay.
Yeah, West Africa. One of the reasons Africa, the continent, is poor, but West Africa in particular, but most of the African countries were almost the last to join the Industrial Revolution. West Africans were still trying to peddle slaves, even though, excuse me, even though slavery had been abolished, and they were still trying to sell slaves to the very last minute. And so they got into the industrialization game way too late. And the problem now is they don't have a great manufacturing industry or hub. And by the time they got into it, the US said, okay, we're going to let you guys, manufacture some things, but you can't trade with one another. If you guys know how big the continent of Africa is in 55 countries, they could sustain themselves just by trading with one another. So they made a bad deal. So I just wanted to kind of touch on that when Amanda was saying that. But, well, go ahead, Amanda. I'll leave it at that.
No, you articulated very well. I speak different languages. English may be my second language and not articulated like you did. I commend you on that. That's the barrier we're trying to break. So now African Union, like my prime minister, for example, right now saying, listen, we can break the walls amongst each other, basically like Kenya, Somalia, Eritrea, and then trying to combine with Sudan. They're trying to work because every single state, every single country, independent country has different resources that we can use with each other. We can trade with each other. So that is the movement that is happening right now. But United States is trying to make sure that we are not to be connected. They don't want the friendship between Eritrean and Ethiopian, even though we are the same people. And even the Somalian from Farmajo, the president that is for Somalia, he is a wonderful, wonderful, great leader. He wants to flourish his country, but they're trying to put limitation on him. The same thing they're doing to Ethiopia. You see, that's what they're trying to break. And that's why they allowed China to come in, because China said, hey, if United States don't want to help you, I'm here to help you. I'm sure, they have their interest, but we prefer someone that can help opposed to someone that wants to bomb or place a military NATO's in our country to make sure that we are being divided.
Hey,
And
Amanda.
that is the problem.
Amanda, may I tell you how we would like Black immigrants to help us? Okay. You there, Amanda?
Yes, my dear, I'm here.
Hey, one of the first things is like, it's great that people like you come into the space and share the way you're sharing. We need you guys to start holding spaces, talking to your people like this, talking to them about being unified amongst themselves, being unified with us, contacting people in their homeland and starting a movement. Like we start movements, like this movement that you're in the space, which you're participating in, is a space about our movement. This is a reparations movement that has many tentacles. So we used to have the civil rights movement, the I'm Black and I'm proud movement, Black is beautiful, I am a man. Like we've had every movement you can think of. We've gone to wars. We need you guys to start getting serious. We don't need rooms where people are yelling and screaming. We need you guys to be as intentional and serious as we are. Hold spaces.
We
Talk
do.
amongst yourselves. No,
We
not
do.
Not really.
No, actually, I know. There are some really
I
nasty
know.
rooms.
I know,
Believe
but
me, they
let me
kick
just
me
finish
out of
because
that
we
room.
I know, hold
They
on,
do.
but we gotta move on. So I'm just saying this in closing. Closing. Talk amongst yourselves. Work on yourselves together. When we hold serious rooms, you guys don't come in there. The Africans do not come in there and work with us on reparations. They don't show up to the hearings. They don't go to any of the lobbying sessions in real life. And we're just tired of people saying we're complaining, but we're the ones doing all the work. This shit does not happen around the United States magically. So Amanda, thank you for your time. Appreciate you. Who's up next, Major?
Oh man, that was so good. Jason, and then Bobby and Sweet.
So I won't be long. Thank y'all for letting me speak. Uh, I do think that I do agree with a lot of what's said. I mean, I've been agreeing with it. I've been a part of the movement, the Black American FBA. I was even there when ADOS and FBA were united. So I agree, and I've been agreeing with those points. And I was someone who, before those movements became, um, bigger, uh, before they really even became a thing. I was B1 in kind of Pan African, that kind of thing. So I agree with it. I just also um, understand where the brother Black Pragmatist was coming from. Um, and I was actually, and it's not because of this space or anything. I had this plan for since yesterday. I'm having my own space about it because I do have a lot to say about because I think that we get sidetracked a little bit on what the real problem is. So I probably will be having my space later tonight, but that's all I wanted to say is I agree and I understand. I just think that um, we can't forget that the problem is white supremacy. But that's it. That's all I say.
We can't forget that the problem is white supremacy, but we can kill many birds with one stone. We can walk and chew gum. We fight white supremacy every day. Me and my co-host are in an organization. I've been in the streets all my life. All my life I've been working. Lots of us here are fighting white supremacy, but we are fighting any and all enemies. We don't care if they look like us. An enemy is an enemy. You present as an enemy, you're going to get fucked up. It is what it is. And that's why I'm holding this space. These holding spaces and calling each other names, that's kitty shit. The black immigrants, they've been talking mad shit and they got real quiet after that AB 3121 hearing, the reparations bill here in California. They keep laughing. Oh, you have no power. You can't do anything. We're just going to keep coming and taking your jobs. What are you going to do? Because they have no power in their countries, they project onto us. Work takes time. Like something that me and Major are talking working on. It's not just me and Major, there's other people in the organization. We won't be able to, you won't see our work till the end of the year. So they talked all this shit, and then AB 3121 came out, and we lobbied and we lobbied and we pushed and we pushed, and we got them to say it's lineage based. It's only for Black American freedmen. Reparations is a debt that is owed. It is not for anyone else. It is unconscionable that anybody thinks that they should have our reparations. Reparations is a debt for slavery. And slavery wasn't just working hard. It wasn't a 5 hour day. It wasn't an 8 hour day. It was a 12, 13, 14, 16, maybe 18 hour day. And you worked till your bones fell off your meat. Then you got raped. Your babies got raped. Toddlers, babies, children, mothers, fathers, sons, daughters. Every atrocity known to mankind was legal against us. If your master was a sadist, you got beat, you got tortured, everything. If your master was a pedophile, it went down. Any horrible thing you can think of that could be done to a human was done to us for 250 years. That is a debt that is owed, not just for the mistreatment. Those would be considered punitive damages in a court of law. That's unpaid wages for 250 years. That is our generational wealth that was stolen, that white people and now immigrants are feeding on. Everyone is feasting off of the wealth that was never passed down to us. Everyone else understands generational wealth, but when it comes to us, it's get over it. Reparations was peonage that came after that. Sharecropping, convict leasing, and the black codes. They were arresting. This is a tactic they've been doing to us for years, snatching our dads and our sons off the streets. If you stood on a corner too long, you could be arrested. If you spit on the street, if you looked a white person in the eye, they sent you to prison and then they leased you back out to the plantation. There's never been a moment, a day, when the white demon hasn't had a scheme. We are fully aware that the white man is the crux of everything. What we're upset about, we Black Americans do not choose collectively to cozy up to that demon. We can't have people who look like us coming here, infiltrating us, cosplaying us, keying with the white man against us. Then, what did we have? We had convict leasing, Jim Crow. Jim Crow went all the way into the 60s, separate but equal, which really meant you ain't getting shit. You're going to get this little mere pittances that we give you. You can't have good jobs like us. You can't have great schools. Then they had redlining. They got FHA home loans, interest-free home loans, grants. That's why they have all this real estate. We couldn't get that. That's your biggest transfer of wealth is your home. All this shit was since I've been alive. I was born in 1961. This get over it shit. What are you talking about right now? Get over what? My life that I lived? What I saw my parents go through? What my grandparents went through? What my great-greats and my greats went through? Get over fucking what? Watching other people feasting, having a good time, living in neighborhoods that are fantastic, while our people are living on the street. In LA, we are 60% of the homeless here in Los Angeles. Meanwhile, everybody, even the Latinos, they've even surpassed us. They've locked us out of employment. Everybody's riding around in new cars in LA, but our people are living on the street. Then we had mass incarceration, still going on today. The original officers, the overseers, the slave catchers that started way back in the 1600s, their job was to catch us and return us to the master. Well, the master is prison now. We have false imprisonment, dropping drugs off into our community, dropping crack off. They dropped crack purposely off in our community, crack and heroin first, then crack. We got medically experimented upon. These are debts that are owed to us by the United States government. And people like me are very upset. We are not going to allow these Black immigrants talking all this shit to us. What have you been doing all this time? You're lazy. Oh, you mean the 50,000 inventions that we created? From everything that you use right now, from the doorknob to the refrigerator. We were selling cars before Ford. What was his name? C.R. Patterson or Pattinson? The iron, the windshield wipers, the traffic light. I could go on and on. What the fuck have we been doing? We've been surviving in the belly of the beast. Reparations is a debt that is owed to Black Americans and no one else. Nobody else was here for none of this shit. So that's why I get really passionate. How could you form your lips after the AB 3121 hearing and we actually won that battle? And Africans were like, oh, you ain't got no power. Well, we showed you. We do have power and we know how to politically mobilize. And then they were like, oh, this is wrong. This is wrong. They got white people writing think pieces. Oh, some Black people are going to be left out. No, not Black people. Immigrants. Immigrants did not get here until the 60s when we fought for what? The 1965 Immigration Act. Our civil rights leaders fought for that. I forgot his name, Powell. Can't remember his name. And Martin Luther King and somebody else. I can't remember. Anyway, I'm going to close in a minute. We fought for immigrants to come here. They were less than 1% of the population until the 80s. And even then, they still weren't at 1%. And now I don't know the percentage, but it's negligible still. There's 2 million of them and somewhere between 40 and 60 million of us. Why should somebody who chose to come here to the most racist country in the world, the country that they willingly come in this space and say destroyed their countries, but they want to come and cozy up with these demons and want some of our reparations? Your reparations is coming here and escaping the hell of your countries. Coming here, being able to use the benefits that we fought for and created so you can catapult to the top of the heap. Reparations is a debt. I could go on and on about everything that we're owed, but please hear me and hear me loud and hear me clear. CARICOM is an organization, a Caribbean organization fighting for Caribbeans and Caribbeans only to get reparations. But the president of their organization got on camera, you can Google it, and said they should get some of our reparations. Isn't that crazy? You're only fighting for Caribbeans to get reparations, but you also want a part of ours. Bring your own claim against the US government. You don't have the same atrocities. It's just like a case in a court of law. You don't have the same damages. You don't have the same harm for the same period of time. The African Union has a reparations commission called ARM. They're only fighting for Africans, but why are we expected to be so benevolent? Why are we expected to give our stolen inheritance, our unpaid and underpaid wages for centuries? Every town we had, almost 300 prosperous towns. Black Wall Street wasn't the only one. We had towns with train stations, airports, libraries, cleaners, everything you have in a city or a town. And they burn it to the ground or they flooded us out. And the rest of the things they took by eminent domain, running freeways through our communities, everything to keep destabilizing us. I'm going to stop talking because there's so much more I could speak about, but I just wanted to comment. I think it was Jazz that came up. No, we don't hate Africans more than whoever, Latinos, whoever, but we sure in the fuck hate anybody that's hating on us. And right now, Black immigrants are acting mighty, mighty nasty.
What's up, family? I just had to let that flow. Shout out to Noir DOS, one of my comrades from the very co-founding of the former ADOS movement. Sister, you just put your foot all the way in that Twitter space. And I thank you so very, very much for granting me the privilege of sharing it with my audience, my supporters. She laid that all the way out. Now, tomorrow, I'm going to continue with the balance of that space. And right now, I'm going to give a couple of talking points for some things that popped up for me as I listened to the space. I hope you heard within that space why it is imperative for us to disaggregate the data. It is imperative. These white colonizers, these Dixiecrats and Republicans know full well what they were doing when they started calling us everything but freedmen. And I wouldn't put it past Jesse Jackson to be complicit in this African American nonsense. I haven't researched it, so I'm not going to disparage him because I don't know. But what I do know is that all skin folk ain't kinfolk, including the traitors of the Freedmen lineage. I am disgusted by the Congressional Black Caucus. Disgusted that they have been complicit while they take care of their own line. And have literally put us back into the slave ships and have allowed these white oppressors to shoot a cannon through that slave ship for the rest of us to drown. That is what they've done. Because we now have 4.5 million Black immigrants in this country that our ancestors built with their lives, who have been made more American than the American freedmen whose ancestors built the wealth they eat from with their very lives. And we have intentional neglect by a Congressional Black Caucus that does more for LGBTQIAXYZ and immigrants than they do the very people they descend from. You heard the names they were calling Connie while they were in her Twitter space. I commend her. She allowed their ignorance to show while those insults were being heralded at her. And tragically, the majority of the Black immigrants in this country hold that sentiment and that disdain for the American freedmen whose ancestors fought to give them access to the food on the table we built. It makes me sick to my stomach. It makes me sick to my stomach. This has been going on for far too long in these spaces. And our Congressional Black Caucus intentional neglect. It ain't benign, it is intentional. They are standing by allowing us to be extincted to as few in number as the Indians. Noir DOS is absolutely correct. These white oppressors in the public and private sector are giving Black immigrants position over us because the intent is to replace American freedmen and to put enough Black immigrant white oppressors in government at every branch to continue to deny us our federal reparations claim that is around 6.2 quadrillion on the very low end for slavery, calculated at 3 cents per hour, 18 hours a day from 1776 to 1865, compounded at 6%. We've not even calculated Jim Crow and accrued ongoing systemic racism, oppression, and disadvantage in the country our ancestors built with their lives vis-a-vis the worst heinous chattel slavery known to the free world. And this is the thanks we get for Black immigrants. They should be kissing our feet and washing our feet akin to Black Jesus. They come up into her space, disrespecting her, not staying on topic. She literally was trying to get them to identify what set they rep. Just disrespectful in her space, akin to what I've experienced in my space. And these are the tethers, along with the traitorous American freedmen, that we've got to fight just so we can get money into the hands of the very descendants of U.S. chattel slavery, that without said reparations will be extincted to as few in numbers as we are out here in Southern California, in the state of California. We have gone from 17 to 3%. We are 2 million to Hispanic, 15 or 16 million, to white folks, 14 million, and we got black immigrants around 600,000 here that are far more wealthy than free black. Let me remind you, the 2016 Color of Wealth LA report shows Africans 60,000 liquid to U.S. black American freedmen, $200 liquid. Africans 58.9% degree with a median income of $115,000. U.S. black 44% degree with a median income of $53,500. African black total assets $152,000 compared to U.S. black American descendants of U.S. chattel slavery, $30,000. 8 years ago, pre-pandemic. These Africans we weren't kidnapped. We were sold into slavery. And I'm sick of the lies. The Nigerians are running the prisons now. They have become our African white oppressors in the prisons. And this is what these Dixiecrats who are our colonizers have opened the floodgates with your vote. 87% of our electorate voted for this. And like Dr. Claude Anderson always intimates, we can't fight everybody. And yet, this is a position American freedmen have placed us in because they're politically lazy. They'd rather watch Tasha K and reality TV that ain't so reality. It certainly ain't their reality. They'd rather pretend that they're as wealthy as a Beyonce or a Jay-Z than to get politically engaged and to get politically involved and come up with a strategy exclusively for the Freedmen lineage. We should be at 1 million subs over here. But folks want to listen to the nonsense. Folks want to listen to these content creators that are pretending to get shit done. Just riding off of what we're doing. On catnaps while we try to raise our families. Everybody taking fucking credit. So this is what the Dixiecrats and the repugnant clans and the traitorous freedmen have come up with, black and all this flat black and all this flat African American and all this nonsense. So that they can drown us, akin to the 100 million lost during the transatlantic slave voyage. Pick up the Black Holocaust, the beginner. Yes, they love these flat terms. And then you got Barack Obama and some Asian woman literally removing the word Negro from everything within the government, from the Constitution. No more Negro. Negro is on my birth certificate. And they decided that we were offended by the term on the census. Let's get rid of it. And now you got folks calling Elon Musk African American. And Barack Obama, who descends from a white mother who descends from slave owners, and a Kenyan father. Blackness is there to mask the failures of this government at every branch wherein American freedmen are concerned. To ethno-genocide us right up out this piece, and the black immigrants are all too happy to sign up to replace us. You don't see none of them, or if they are, you can count them on one hand, fighting for us to be repaired. And as Noir DOS intimated, they've cut us out of everything in terms of African reparations from its colonizers and CARICOM, but they got the unmitigated gall to sell us into slavery and want a piece of what we did, our ancestors, and continue to do. Our Holocaust is never ending as these ingrates tell us to forget about it once they get to lay with Zaddy. That's the traitorous freedman and the black immigrant alike. We're supposed to forget about it and just die silently in the gas chambers, turn guillotine with the Dixiecrats, after 87% of our electorate went and voted this bullshiggity into office. Kabami and Jim Crow Joe, segregationist in chief, covert racist in office, with records against American freedmen several New York City blocks long. But 87% of our electorate was convinced that an overt racist in office of 4 years with no record against American freedmen posed more of a threat than these two at the helm. Trump was building a wall to keep immigration off of white folks' necks. Consequently, that means black folks' necks, who suffer the worst. Immigration being our most imminent threat. We're being replaced in the workforce because of it. But folks want to sit up here and try to convince me that Trump calling Africa a shithole country made him a worse ingrate than the ones you guys chose to go to the polls to elect. Trump wasn't giving away our reparations 40 going north to immigrants and refugees, and to line the pockets of corporate with 3Ks, America with 3Ks. Trump wasn't sending $16 billion to the neo-Nazi Ukrainians to fight Russia on the behalf of NATO and the U.S. And this is what having our back look like from the Biden administration, who thanked 87% of y'all for having his back and making sure you went and pushed that blue button for them to replace us. Because that's what you do every time you push blue. We got pretend organizers in the screw tube and Patreon spaces telling us to run out here and vote blue no matter who, dimmed down ballot to our own peril. But folks want to come for me when I construct a super PAC to get the like of our reparationist candidates elected. They don't lift a finger to do no hot damn work. Can't show you no bill, no legislation that they've amended to get reparations done nowhere in the country. Just grifting off of it to our people's peril. We can set content creators to 84,000 subs, and they sit up here and drag us every chance we get, and we the only ones working. Grifters, grifting off of reparations, never expecting us to go out here and be the fucking solution. And now that we're being so and making strides with their proverbial boots on our jugulars, they pump up the volume on the insults. Trying to take credit. Talking about they my mama. Get the fuck out of here. And how dare these Africans in particular blame us for what this white man, as Marcel Dixon shared, does to us first. Whatever you got coming in terms of the wars they bring to your continent, it happened here to us first. Now, thank the woman from Ethiopia. It appears that once they intermarry, they actually take the time to get to know the history. Noir DOS said she had a friend who said that this is how they teach them. They teach them anti-Freedmen, racist hate the minute they come into the country. Well, if you got enough adult in you to raise your fucking hand to be sworn in as an American citizen, then you're adult enough to read a hot damn book and know the truth. You don't want to know the truth. Because you want to be comfortable marking the African American box when it serves you to become more wealthy than freedmen so that you can get in high places and oppress us akin to the white oppressors. Everything you describing in this space about the atrocities leveled at you happened here first. We were the ones they practiced on. But you got the unmitigated gall to cozy up to them and not be a true Pan-Africanist with us. We the only ones, not me, up in this piece being Pan-African. While you get in bed with our white oppressors to ethno-genocide us out this piece because you're already on track at 4.5 million. We were 4 million when we fought and won our emancipation. So what do you think happens when you're squeezed out of the employment and you're suffering from unemployment and underemployment, the highest rates in the country, while Black immigrants get position over you? While we've been set up to abort our children due to the war on poverty, the war on drugs. We went from 4 million to what, 60 million? Don't you think with the money that's due us, with the entitlements that our ancestors fought and died for, don't you think with that reparations that they are now on track to be 60 million in about 40 years? $50 years, 100 years, while our numbers shrink due to homelessness, unemployment, and underemployment. And they've been made whole with the 6-figure salaries and the wealth position to marry and have children. And then you want to sit up here and say, we all in this together. Give me a cut of that reparations. Because if I'm thousands times more wealthy than you in the country your ancestors built with their lives, when you run me those millions, you'll still be on the bottom. Before I pray us out, because I'm not even in the mood to read anything, I appreciate you, co-host, for keeping the chat active, but I need to sleep this off, you know. We'll be back tomorrow with part 2, so we can finish out Noir DOS's space. If you can sit up here and listen to this live and continue to go to these polls and vote for our own people's peril, you disgust me. If you don't have the backbone of our ancestors who knew when to pivot from the repugnant clans to the Dixiecrats for civil rights, you're not my people. If you choose to stay your black ass at home and sit this one out, or vote for some third party that don't stand a snowball chance in hell, you're not my people. If you choose to stay your black ass at home, like a lot of these content creators are trying to encourage you to do, you are leaving the fate of our entire lineage in the hands of immigrants and white folks who hate us. And you're not my people. Freedmen voter strategy. Vote for closed border candidates only. I don't give a damn what else they own. It's life or death for Freedmen. And you ain't got nothing coming. Staying your black ass at home. Acting like somebody got an agenda for you. Acting like somebody got some tangibles for you. Continue to reward these Democrats for replacing us with immigrants. That's what you're doing every time you push blue. And we got a lot of pretend organizers encouraging you to go do that shite against the reparationist candidates, Tamara Johnson-Shealy, to replace the Coon Warnock in Georgia. Akin to the way she did the first time Tamara Johnson-Shealy chose to run and we tried to get her elected. Fucking agents of chaos. Now they coming for Marcel Dixon. So I got to be a full court press leaning in, prayerful that you guys can make my message go viral. And I don't give a damn what none of them traitorous, trick-ass freedmen got to say about me. Go run and tell it. I don't give a good hot damn. I'm beyond caring. We are out of time. Donate, donate, donate to Marcel Dixon, Tamara Johnson-Shealy, William Somerville. These are our reparationist candidates that are true reparationists. And that Lady Hunter in Philly, they're going to come on the live with Dawn Page and Khalif from CBAC. That's in the works. That interview is in the works. She's a snow bunny, but CBAC is at her table crafting what reparations should really be. Unlike the pretend organizers who want to take credit and tell us that she's our mother, while she collects on Patreon and ScrewTube. We're actually trying to get folks elected to get the reparations and that shmoney and that Skrilla in the bank accounts of the people who are long overdue. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever Freedmen and its allies are, God truly is, because family, you are the face of God. Yes, you are. You are the voice of God. You are the body temple of the Spirit of the living God. If no one's told you today, family, know that I love you black. And I love you oh so strong. Yes, I do. Until tomorrow, family, I want you to make it a beautiful, God-inspired rest of your evening. Make it a great work day tomorrow. Until then, I'm sending you a ton of peace, love, and reparations.